it's time for fun. It's time to pick your favorites and decide what is shit. Are you ready for this? It's the tier list. Come on, let's go. It's time for the tier list show.
Tonight we're counting down Sylvester Stallone movies. That's right, we're back on a Sunday night. Yay. No more tears, that's right, Davina Duckworth. Well, actually, we're going to have a big tier here. What you got? The biggest tier we've ever had on the show is right. Hello, we got Six with us. How you doing?
Hello, good evening. Doing well.
We have Red Shirt.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm well. Been watching Sylvester Stallone movies I missed in the past, so this weekend.
Ooh.
So I've got a few extras I can put into the list.
I am the law. What about you, Nick? I see you're wearing a Cobra shirt. Yeah.
Anyways, I'd be doing all right. I found a disease in the bathroom, and I decided I was going to be the cure.
Oh, yeah.
And so I blew that place up.
I should be wearing one of my Rocky shirts tonight. I feel bad.
I found some bank robber at the grocery store. He was being an annoying little brat. He said he's going to blow the store up, and I said to him, "Go ahead. I shop here anyway."
This place is crap. So anyway, we also have CC Karaoke, a Canadian. How you doing?
Yeah, this list makes me realize how much catching up I got to do with Sly.
Yeah, you basically made me realize how Canadian you are.
It's true. Yeah. I remember where those Rocky films were in the movie store. I know exactly where they were.
That's Ambassador Stallone to you.
He's got a point. Ambassador Stallone.
Yeah,
that's right.
Ambassador Stallone now.
So let's get into this. So how did I do this? Okay, so first of all, Sylvester Stallone has had at least 100 and some plus acting appearances. So I had to cut out any TV shows, cameos where he's himself, where he's not at least within the top tier of the cast, basically like I did with Mel Gibson last week, right? So if that makes sense. Like basically my cutoff line was Ants. I was like, is he in Ants enough to consider that a Sylvester Stallone movie? No.
No. I like Ants, but no.
Exactly. So that was my cutoff
Woody
right
Allen,
there. Yeah, so that was my cutoff. Exactly. I would consider that more of a Woody Allen movie. I cut that off there. But we do have a few in here. There was one I made. Oh, we got Price joining us as well. How you doing, Price?
Yes.
Glad to have you. And the one exception I made here was Lords of Flatbush, which is technically a TV movie, but it got released outside of the US, and it has it plays an integral part in the history of Sylvester Stallone, and we'll get into that as we get going here.
Isn't that the one that's sort of a bit of a prawny one?
No. You're thinking of the Italian Stallion. Lords of Flatbush was the one that they advertised as basically a prequel to Happy Days as like the origin of the Fonz, which it kind of is, because I might as well just tell the story now. For those who don't know, Henry Winkler basically based the Fonz on Sylvester Stallone. And because they met while making this movie. So if you watch from now on, whenever you watch Happy Days, I ruined it for you. I'm sorry.
Can confirm, Tom. You can fact check Tom. He's right.
He could have done worse, Tom. I mean,
That's interesting.
The whole thing is Sly.
Yes.
The whole thing.
Yes.
Because Henry said, who was the coolest guy I could think of? And it was Sylvester Stallone. And he was basically that. He was like a greaser. He came in with the leather jacket, slick back hair, dark eyes, the whole bit at that age and that time, that he just modeled the Fonz after what Sylvester Stallone looked like and lived like. And
Didn't know that, actually.
Man. Yeah. Even
Yeah,
the
I heard
voice and
that.
everything. If you listen to his voice when he's playing the Fonz, it's kind of like Sly, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, we
But
got our
anyhow,
work cut. We got our work cut out for us tonight.
we do.
Jeez.
I'm not going to waste much time because we got a lot. I think more movies than we had on the, just by a few on the Mel Gibson one because I had to trim this down as best as I could. We got Eric Winberg, who is an awesome contributor to the channels here. Eric sends in one and says, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." That's right. I did this tier list all by myself. So let's rank them as SXHBK
Should
says
have had
here.
that TMNT clip. Adrian!
So all right, I kind of moved them around a little bit. They're not in any kind of real semblance of order until we get to the end, obviously. You can't figure that one out. So I put a big hitter up front. We got Cliffhanger right off the bat. I mean, are we starting the night off with an S tier film? What do you say, Six? Oh, I suppose I should establish what S tier actually means this time out, right?
It means
Should I not?
worthy of 6 watching.
That's right. Or basically, the way I see it, this is my rule: the film is iconic because of the star, and the star is iconic because of the film. It doesn't necessarily mean the quality per se of the film. So keep that in mind. That's how we're going to rank these. So 6, how did you feel about Cliffhanger? If you've seen it,
I have seen it. I enjoy it. I'm not the biggest Sylvester Stallone fan. I think I probably watched it because of the female lead.
I was trying to. Is that chick from? Wasn't she in? What was
Northern
it at the time?
Exposure.
Northern Exposure. Thank you.
Yes, I love Northern Exposure. I loved her. She's one of the few women who looks good in that type of haircut. I think she's absolutely
Agreed.
gorgeous. Great actress. She's a cool chick I'd like to hang out with. It's a good movie.
Is it iconic?
No.
Oh.
Like S level? No.
Oh, okay. All right. Red shirt. What do you say?
I have not seen this one.
Audible gasp.
Yeah.
John Lithgow
We need to
screaming,
do
"Where's
Toxic
my money?"
Tuesday just for that. Just for that, we need to do a Toxic Tuesday for Red
You
Shirt on
haven't done
one.
this on Toxic
We
Tuesday
have not.
yet?
We have not.
Oh my
We
God.
will.
Fucking hell. What world do we live in here? This is the ultimate talk. Like every time we do this, it's like, how have you not?
I'm not
I
surprised
know.
you guys haven't done this one. This one
I
isn't
am.
particularly toxic.
No, but it's like this is where okay. Continue. Nick, save us here.
Oh God, dude, I'm gonna go at the minimum an A. Are you kidding me? I love Cliffhanger, love it. Sure, it may not be as well known as Rocky or Rambo, or maybe even to a lesser extent Cobra, but dude, it's a great Stallone movie. Come on,
It's a B.
hey, we can't all be perfect.
There's
CC,
nothing
it's
wrong with
left up
B,
to
but
you.
it's not top tier. It's a B. I don't want to say if I'm being generous, but it's a B.
I guess the big question for me is, and maybe CC can answer this: if somebody's seeing Ace Ventura now, Part 2, would they get that the beginning is a parody of that?
Probably
That's the
not.
question. Oh, you don't think so? Okay.
If he gives a B, I'm gonna call the beekeeper on him.
I've forgotten the movie, to be honest.
Oh my God, John Lithgow's the bad guy in it.
But yeah,
He
that's.
has
I mean, if you're looking for a tiebreaker, John Lithgow just elevates anything he's in.
Where's my money?
But I got to come back to this. I completely forgot the movie existed. So for me, that means I don't think it's S tier by that standard.
Damn,
because it's
what
just
the fuck?
it's not. But you're right. It's not in the cultural.
Nick,
Let
what
the
hell?
chat. Let the chat decide then, because they should
Oh
be all
my
going an A.
gosh.
I'm an A. I'm standing by my
I'm going
A.
with S tier on this. This is
Okay,
where I'm having
hey.
a problem on this. I'm like, this is one of those movies besides Rocky and Rambo that I would say he's most well known for.
Hey,
So here I'm just taken aback by that.
I don't feel like it's as well known as the other. Don't get me wrong.
It's been mixed in the chat already. So I guess
personally enjoy it, and I feel like the quality is similar to them. But I don't feel like the role overall is as well known. Like it's not.
I
the
have to
first
argue that it's a
character
solid
that
enough
comes to mind.
movie that it deserves an A. And
Oh,
the
God,
audience
yeah.
is pretty mixed, so I'm not even going to bother the audience yet because I have a feeling one of the next 2 or 3 is going to be bothering them already. So
Did you know that John Lithgow does a phony British accent in that one?
I'm trying to remember if he does. Is it? He might.
I believe
he might
so.
be
Yes.
right. I don't know if it was that one or a different one you're thinking of, but you could be right. But the next one, speaking of phony accents, I don't even know how that segues into this. The Expendables. Hey, yo.
6 can go.
Who wants to
Otherwise,
go first?
I'll
I
go
haven't seen
first.
it.
You
Haven't
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it,
First
Six?
one?
Red
Is it the
shirt?
first one we're talking
I-
about?
Yeah, the very first one.
The
Yes.
very
I'm gonna
first
go-
one. I like the very first one. As an ensemble cast and a mission-oriented film, I thought it was really good. It was a fun watch. I don't know whether I'd call it an A or a B. It's not an S. It's not iconic for him because there's too many other people sharing the spotlight with him.
Mhm.
I'm okay with B, but honestly, Cliffhanger could have been B also. But okay.
I'm gonna go the B as well. Now, funny enough, I probably would have actually rated it lower in 2010. I don't know why. I don't know where my mindset was at in 2010 when I saw it theaters. I remember thinking, okay, I like it, but then when I rewatched it years later, it was so much better than I remember. And I thought, oh man, this is actually a really damn good movie. And like, it's obviously it's got a simple plot, but which of these action heroes, most of their movies are not like this. That's fine. But I love it so much more now. I feel like the first one overall has held up the best. So I go with the B.
I give it
CC?
points for just being a great concept that we're not ever really going to get again. You got these people together, all of them together, all these action heroes when they were still not necessarily too old to do it. And we don't have those heroes anymore. There's no one to do it, in the next 10, 20, 50 years, who knows? I mean, they have to get a new cast of stars for that. So in that sense, I think it ages well. Maybe they didn't pull it off as well as we would have hoped, but it's one of a kind, right? You can't do that again now.
I think it's aged a bit better.
Have you watched it recently, CC? I stress you to give it a rewatch again.
That's what I'm thinking is like, okay, I need to
aged
come
better
back
than
to it
the
again
sequel did. That's for sure.
Yeah,
like the sequel
agreed.
almost feels like a Michael Bay movie. This movie feels like, and this is where I think it sits right in the B category because you got all these B movie actors in it along with Sly. It kind of has that B movie kind of canon feel to it. So I think it belongs right where it's at.
When Terry Crews has that big giant gun, he says, "Remember this shit at Christmas," and the dude sweats so much that his sweat head sweat. Hilarious.
Yeah. So did anybody else not get to comment on it who's seen it yet? Red Shirt, did you get your time in?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I really like the concept of it, and he was a great part of it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he was a great part of it, and that is very much an ensemble movie. Stallone holds his own in it. I'll say that. He's got nothing to apologize for being in that movie. So he was very much a part of the crew, and just the humor in it, where they're all basically they're all trying to one up each other, and they're all trying to cut each other down, and it's just like what I talked with Gary, who's on Toxic Tuesday. He was in the Army, and that's the sense of humor that guys in the military have. And it's it's taken me some time to get used to it because I never served in the military, and I'm starting to understand it. It's nothing personal. It's just give it back,
right?
So yeah, I enjoyed it for that. It was fun.
All right. Well, next up we've got a remake. It's Get Carter of the Michael Caine film. I didn't hate this remake, but I can understand people who didn't like it. It hasn't got a lot of love over the years. Six, have you even seen it?
Boring. I never finished
you did see it.
Yeah, my mom is a huge Sylvester Stallone fan, so when we get together, I always put on something that she enjoys, and I don't know if I dozed off or walked away or what happened, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, it was in his kind of lower phase or whatever you want to call it. Red Shirt, have you seen it?
Which one?
Get Carter.
No, I've never seen Get Carter.
Okay.
Nick? In fact, I don't even remember hearing about that movie.
It's like
I'm gonna go
2001,
with
2003,
C, and if someone argues for a D, I can't blame them either. It is not really a strong movie at all to me.
Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Just take it. 6. Honest,
how are you, like, Tom, are you writing down people's
No,
Like,
I'm just
are
sitting
you
here listening, and then I kind of average it in my head.
in your head? Okay. I was just wondering how scientific this is. Okay.
Not very.
Continue.
Very
entirely
scientific.
unscientific.
Well, I'm like,
Imagine
should I
trying to
start-
call Sylvester Stallone list scientific.
There's
Should
a
I
lot
start
of
writing
there's a
this
lot of
stuff
feeling in
down?
this. No, there's a lot of feeling in this. It's like
Okay.
y'all are against me in this thing. Is what it's.
So it's basically if we catch Tom putting a movie higher than we all say it is, then that's
If
really
you haven't
what it is.
noticed so far, Nick is my barometer.
Well, you know, I am
Because
wearing the
Nick is
silver
my
shirt.
boy, and when it comes to Sly films, so it's like, okay, Nick is probably what most guys think when it comes to Sly.
Okay.
You know,
That
I
makes
guess-
scientific fucking sense to me.
Okay. Whatever.
Now, if we were talking
show.
like, you know, I'm trying to think of something here, like Star Wars movies, I'd probably go with your barometer first and then go from there. I'm just trying to think of a random thing here, you know. Or like if we were doing musicals, you know, CC being the music guy, maybe, you know, maybe I'd go with his as the barometer. That's kind of how I do it, you know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, when we do chick flicks, I'm in charge.
That's what I mean, exactly. So like if we were doing a chick flick thing right now,
When hell
you'd be-
freezes over and we do
you
chick
never
flicks.
know.
Yeah.
You never know.
But yeah, we could do the Ryan Reynolds ranking.
There's Valentine's Day is coming up. You never know. We could do chick flicks that dudes do like. We could
I think
kind
I
of
have
come
a
up with a
date that
list,
night.
maybe. Oh, of course you do. Not me. I'm a loser. All right. So anyway, who else could do? Price, did you get to chime in yet, or CC on Get Carter?
C is fine.
I watched it when it came out, and
It's nothing
can't tell.
special. It doesn't stand out.
So yeah, everybody's kind of convincing me it might belong in the D's.
I can see an argument for that.
I mean,
And
just because
say
I thought it was
as a-
okay. I mean,
Well,
It's
Nick
just, here's the
said
thing.
C,
It's
Price
not a
said
bad
C.
movie, but it's just one of those things where if you had taken Sylvester Stallone out of it, I feel like it would be a D by default. It's one of those things where he brings it up slightly by a C. And once again, it shows you a guy who could be a great performer, great actor, can only do so much to help a movie that has not the greatest thing going on, really.
well, and I'm kind of.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a remake of a Michael Caine movie.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if people are reacting to it the way they are because of that. See, that I can understand.
Yeah, that would be my feeling. I mean, that might have been why I never didn't bother, because I'm like, no, it's like, don't remake Zulu. They remade the Italian Job. That was a mistake. So don't remake Get Carter.
Agreed.
I actually like the remake of Italian Job.
Yeah, but I didn't see the original. Did anybody see the original?
I
Michael
have.
Caine version?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, I kind of
seen
found the
parts of
original
it.
a little boring, but it was fine. You know, it's just of its time. This basically is the high octane studio remake version of it with Sylvester Stallone, right? I mean, it's kind of in that same vein of like Death Wish with Bruce Willis, I guess. I
Why don't
mean,
you ask the audience?
a lot of them have been saying C and D. So everybody's been saying mostly C or D.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just going to leave it in the C's for now. If I will move it around later, we know why. Okay, this next one I have seen, but I, for the life of me, don't really remember much of it. Fist. Now, I remember it being about like this, the union thing and the protests or something like that, but that's, and like they work at is it like a factory or something like that? Has anybody even seen it on the panel?
No.
I have
Anybody? Okay. Nobody? Because I figured this would be the first one we'd have to throw to the audience if we didn't throw one already.
We
So
were all babies.
Have
when
not
that
seen
came
this
out.
one, actually, admittedly.
I have, but I just don't remember it. And it was like one of Sly's first big missteps I remember at the box office. So I don't think it's going to be S tier by any stretch.
Well, maybe you should have a tier for most of the panel hasn't seen. We can talk about.
I
Samantha
tried to
later.
add stuff. Yeah, I got to figure out how to work with this thing. I'm still learning it. So, all right, the poll is up. You guys decide on Fist while we talk about Lockup, which I would say is probably one of Sly's more underrated films. What do you guys think? Six, have you ever seen Lockup?
No.
I've
Isn't
seen
that
it
a
once.
sexual position?
I've seen it once, and honestly, from what I remember, I didn't really like it.
Well, he's in prison, and Donald Sutherland plays the warden, and he's like really sadistic.
And I
And he's
didn't
like-
like it. I don't know why. I saw it as a, I was a kid when I watched it, and I liked more the kind of movies that Stallone like is not in a jail, that people are messing around with him. I like to see him more kicking ass, and I didn't feel like this movie did what it was supposed to do. I honestly, I would give it like a C at best.
Anybody else? I can't believe Nick hasn't seen it.
It's just no, I have seen it, and it was just here's the thing. There's nothing about that made me want to come back to it for a rewatch. Maybe I'll give it a back again at some shot sometime between now and my death. But watching it, I was just not feeling it. I feel
it's
like
a bummer. It's a bummer of a movie.
It is. Oh, dude, I didn't feel good like watching it, and I feel like this is some role Stallone took because he just needed to kill some time.
I think that he thought maybe it'll have more critical acclaim. Maybe somebody will think he's more sensitive there. There's this lady. He's in jail. I don't know
I
what.
like it, but it's very melodramatic.
Yeah, I think that he thought that this would maybe be a more legit movie and not just him holding a machine gun, blowing people up. But honestly, he should have just gone with one with a machine gun and blowing people up.
Because, yeah, like the whole thing boils down to my memory, the things that stick out most. And I've seen it quite a few times. I think it even might have a 4K, to be honest with you. Maybe
it's
not.
A bummer of a movie. I've seen it once, never wanted to revisit it again. And until now, when I think about it, I don't want to revisit it again.
Wow. Anybody else? I don't know. I enjoyed it more than that, but I'll leave it in the C's for now. All right. Here's our first controversial one, probably even more so. Judge Dredd.
How's that controversial?
Oh, boy.
That's a good one.
See, I
knew
no,
it's not. No,
that's
it's not.
A.
Ow.
I think that's another C.
That's at best a C.
At best a C, yeah.
He took off his helmet. I love Stallone. He's one of my all-time favorites, and he will always have a huge place in my heart. And he did say the line. However, he took off his helmet by default. That's a major problem. Overall, it's not a bad movie, though, but it is far from great. I'm going to go with a C.
I will say this. I would have rated that a B movie until I saw Carl Urban play the same role. And Urban's movie knocks Sylvester Stallone's movie down a notch.
Is that fair to really compare the two, though, I guess?
Well,
maybe it is.
Okay, now I am not a comic book fan, okay? What I do know from hanging around YouTube for close to 5 years is that Judge Dredd is a comic book character.
Right.
And I know how anal retentive some of the comic fans are. Nick Weiser. That this is not, doesn't look, from what but everything I've heard, it didn't look and feel like the comic book. Now, my feeling towards it was melodramatic. I thought that the Max von Sydow was a better part of the movie than Sylvester Stallone was as Judge Dredd. And
what about Rob Schneider? He's great in it.
Yeah, it wasn't. This is one of those movies that I've watched once and I've never watched again. So
I'm not going to be able to defend this one. The audience is all over the fucking place on this one. We've got S tiers. We got A, B. I mean, I don't know what to do with this one. See, that's the thing, and this is what kind of affects this list. And this is where I'm like, you almost can't rate it on the movie itself, but more on the iconography of it, right?
Well, that's where I was going to go, because when I think of Sylvester Stallone, I do think of Judge Dredd.
Yeah, like I mean that line is I am the like. Yes. I mean,
and I'll give you that. That's an iconic line.
And can you think of a bigger bomb in like what was it, 95? This came out, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's almost like it's so bad it almost finds its way into the B level. And I get what you're saying. It is like a B. It's like an ultimate B movie.
I'll go with that. It's an ultimate B movie in the sense of B, 1950s B movies.
But
not just for the rating, but for the
Redshirt.
I would rate it a B. I would give it a B as a B movie. As a comic book adaptation, I would probably rank it lower. But if you just but compare it to other movies that had, did not have the huge budget and they were trying to evoke a feel. They came up with some iconic dialogue. The writers didn't suck. The acting wasn't terrible. Yeah, it's a B movie.
it's horrible as far as Judge Dredd, though. You're right. What were you going to say, Six? Sorry.
What are I can't help it. I'm writing down what you guys are saying. Price and Nick gave it C's. Red Shirt gave it a B. CC and Tom, what's your letter?
CC?
I'm going to give it a B.
Because,
but I will say this because I'm giving that to Sylvester Stallone.
Dude, you're comparing that movie to The Expendables. Come on.
Oh, okay. So this now we got to.
I don't know.
Yeah,
see, I don't know.
That's the thing. You gotta consider what else.
He's probably just as well known for one or the other. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But yeah.
Well, Tom, what are you giving it?
I'd have to throw it in the B or C level. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in between right now.
See, I'm giving it a B. I realized I got a little excited and I said A, but that's
Chad, just remember I chose C. I chose C.
Yeah, Nick said C.
Yeah, but so you're the comic book guy, Nick.
If I separate myself from its earnesty to the source material, it's just a B movie with Sylvester Stallone in it. It's not great, but I enjoy his performance. You know, I'm not necessarily going to regret my time.
I mean, I can see an argument for it coming down, though. See, that's the thing. But the audience is all over the. What's the
Nick
one we
and
have most
Nick
of?
and Price gave it C. Red Shirt, CC, and me and I gave it B.
And I guess if I give it B, then it's definitely going in the B.
Urkel gave a great argument. Judge Dredd did get sequels. Unlike a lot of his series, they get sequels.
True-ish.
But to be fair, I have to be.
There is one or two of his iconic films that never had sequels, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
right
that's not the only one of his. Because if you had to play by that logic, I had to consider the fact that Cobra, Tango and Cash, and what's that one movie? Over the Top.
Well, Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition Man. Those didn't have sequels either. And obviously, those are vastly superior movies.
Yes.
What were you going to say, Six?
I don't remember. Nothing important.
You could put it to I'm seeing from the chat a ton of B's and C's. You could put the final vote to the chat.
Maybe the chat, should vote on this.
Okay,
one.
so let's see what the chat is saying. Insane hippie insane sends in 5. Well, there's somebody we haven't seen in a while. How you doing? Oscar deserves at least a B tier, if not an A tier. Well, we're gonna get to Oscar. Trust me on that one. Beat Bop Boop sends in £1.99 and says, do you know what love is? Sacrifice. Great scene. Yes. And then ActionCom says, no, chick flicks. Well, we'll have to see if we can work that one out or not.
I don't want to sit through that panel either. Do it on a weekend. I'm working.
We do it for you. What the hell? SFXF314 Sabretooth Raptor says RoboCop with Sylvester Stallone. That would have been interesting. Yeah, that's basically what Judge Dredd is. Beat Bop Boop says these tier list videos are awesome. Well, thank you. So much fun to hear you go over classics. I'd love an Arnold tier list. That's definitely on the docket. That would be great to rank those films. In fact, that's probably it's going to get bumped up. ActionCom says, where's Terminator 2? Some say it was his greatest movie ever. Get the poster. That's right. It was his best performance of all time. He's well known for it. It's his biggest movie of all time. It's great. Tornado says Escape Plan is S best movies. Well, we'll have to see. And thank you for the $10, Tornadoes. It's amazing. Thank you for that. It's a huge super chat. So let's see what the audience has said about Fist. We got about 40 some votes here. And the final tally is it's tied. How the fuck can we have a tie? Wow. C and D are tied. That is
tie goes to the winner. Make it a C.
No, I didn't mute you.
Motherfucker.
I guess I got a vote in the chat then. Do I get the vote? Oh, never mind. I didn't vote.
Wow.
What are the okay? Do we get to do a rock, paper, scissors then between C and D?
Yeah, but if we were arguing B versus C and chat is saying C versus D, the common ground I think was C.
Yep.
I agree.
31%, 31%.
Yeah, so.
And 26% went to B and A went, so I don't know. I think C is a good place to put it. Yeah.
Do you have a magic 8-ball that you could ask?
I don't offhand, but I could look for one. So we're caught. Whoa, what the hell was that? Somebody did something. So we're caught up here on super chats, And were we gonna should we really give the audience on Judge Dredd, or are we just gonna leave it where it's at for now? Because we got a long ways to go here. We got a lot of movies.
Let's keep going.
All right, we got Victory next, which is the soccer movie. Speaking of Michael Caine, he made a movie with Michael Caine.
Yes.
I vaguely remember this one. Red Shirt, sounds like you were about to say something.
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I liked the fact that when Stallone wanted in on the escape plan, but he had no idea how to play soccer, and he tried using his hands on the field, and they're like, "You can't use your hands." He's like, "What do you mean you can't use your hands? This is called, you call this football."
Oh.
They stick him in goal so he could use his hands, and he becomes a halfway decent goalie for the team.
Yeah, I don't.
So
remember
yeah,
anything
I
much
liked
about
it. I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was. I thought that the Germans. I've watched the Germans in the World Cup, so the Germans play in this game reminds me of watching the Germans in the World Cup. They think hockey. They think soccer is a full contact game.
So where would you rank it?
I'd rank it as a B movie, maybe an A.
Wow.
I think this one it's not an historical movie. I don't think this actually happened, but as a story of World War II and the rivalry that it's not the Great Escape. That would be an S. But it is a good wartime prisoner of war movie. So I'd say it was entertaining. It was well written, well acted, great cast. I'd call it an A.
6. Have you seen it?
Nope.
Didn't think so. Nick?
Didn't see it.
It took you that long to tell me you didn't see it. CC?
Never heard of it.
Really? Okay. Price?
Wait, what's it called again?
It's called Victory.
What happens in that movie?
It takes place during World War II. Yeah, it's kind of like The Great Escape meets The Longest Yard.
I've never seen it.
Wow.
It's just not as good as either one of those. That's the
Yeah, I was
problem.
gonna say
Yes.
those are two great movies.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, it's kind of immemorable for I don't even remember the bits that Red Shirt was talking about. That's how.
All right,
So I guess
B. Then I wouldn't put it above a B. Then if somebody who's seen it can't even remember it, it's no more than.
But
a B.
I haven't seen it since I was probably like 10 or 12. I don't remember.
Probably. Well,
No,
I
I
haven't
object to
seen
that.
it.
Rate
I
the
haven't
movie
seen-
based on what you think, not based on what somebody else thinks.
Okay, I think it was an A because when I saw it, I thought it was a really, really good movie, and then it became damn near impossible to find. So that was part of the problem. You couldn't just.
It is one
go
of those
find the
movies that
movie.
is more difficult to find. Yes.
So
For
yeah.
whatever reason, I don't know.
So what did you give it, Tom?
I just threw it in there because Red Shirt remembers it the most.
Because we can't just put a movie at A.
But it's been like 30 some years since I've seen it. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If only one person is really familiar with it, does it deserve an A on a panel of 6 people?
it's not in the A, it's in B.
It's in B.
I'm not seeing a lot of it. I'm not seeing any A's in the chat.
Yeah, it's
But
not
are
a
you
well-known
arguing
movie.
it should go down more? I don't know what you're saying. Sorry.
I just think that if we haven't even determined that this movie is worthy of us seeing, that should knock it down. Like it should be a weighted grade rather than.
That's fair, but like the point we were making at the end there, it's not that I probably wouldn't have watched it more times over the years. It's just not it's not a movie that is readily available as a lot of his other films. But you do have a point. I mean, it has not really stood the test of time, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll stick it in the C for now.
And I'm okay with that because for the very simple reason that it just disappeared. And I don't know whether it disappeared because nobody wanted to pick it up and put it on their late night show or a streaming service or Netflix or whatever. But yeah, it just fell off the face of the earth as a movie. So C is fine.
All right, well, we'll keep going on. And we got the original Creed with Sly and what's his face there?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I was not as big a fan of Creed as everybody else was.
Thank you.
I love the Sylvester Stallone parts, but I hate what they did to Apollo Creed through this character.
Agreed. Strongly agreed. I hate what they did to Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed. They made him another deadbeat dad
Yep.
with the way they treated his character, and I hated that.
Which they didn't even have to do.
No,
They
didn't have to do it all.
You could have accomplished the same thing with him not wanting to have to live under his father's shadow by being his father's son, right? Like that's the whole point of the movie anyway, and it just.
But him also having an affair with his wife.
That's the thing that makes it stupid, right? Like that's the point.
I think there was a problem with the age of the kids and the age of. They needed a younger guy, but it wouldn't have made sense with the timeline. Maybe it could have been his grandson.
All you had to do was say that she was pregnant when he died. Because that's kind of basically what it is.
Right.
Is he had an affair just before he died is the way they set it up.
You're right.
His kids are a little older. You're correct.
you
Even Michael B. Jordan is too fucking old to technically be starting boxing. But yes. Yeah.
I accept what you're saying. If they would have said she was pregnant, done. That would have fixed the problem.
Yeah. And that's what bothers me. And that's the only thing that bothers me. Because otherwise it's just basically a remake of the first film. You know, they literally give him a girlfriend that instead of basically being an introvert, she's deaf, right? Like, but the difference is he's coming from the top and trying to live like Rocky and be like Rocky, and it's like it just doesn't jive with me. So I don't know. The best I can give it is a C. It sounds like you're in the same area, Nick.
Oh,
roughly.
I'm at a C. I'm strongly at a C. The Sylvester Stallone stuff is when he is there is good. I wouldn't say like it's as great as everyone says, but it is good. And you do see a good performance from Michael B. Jordan, but man, the characterization of Apollo Creed was straight up character assassination. The fact that no one at the time I think the only person who actually called out the problems with this movie at the time, I think was the Critical Drinker actually. And I was shocked. I'm like, how is this guy the only one noticing this stuff? So,
well,
I mean, it
seems like people are coming around now to understanding it, but at the time, people were.
You know why? Because I think that when it came out, we were really at the early days of this kind of woke stuff, and I think that walking into it, I wasn't really thinking about anything. I was just happy that Stallone was in a movie.
Woke. I really don't think so. I know that's easy to
making
say,
Apollo Creed a deadbeat father. That's part of the woke
that dates
thing.
back decade. That's pre woke. If we're gonna be fair, I wouldn't call that woke. I as much as I hate what they did, it's not woke at all.
Well, this was 2015, so keep that in mind. But
what I'm trying to say is this: if 5 years later they would have released that movie, just me already looking for crap that I don't like, I would have been much more nitpicky. At the time, when we were still getting good movies, I didn't think too much about legacy character. I just was happy to see Stallone, and I guess I didn't think too much about it. But I will say that over the years, when I think about it, there are things that bother me a bit about the movie, but I wouldn't give it a C. I still think just for Stallone's performance in it, it's worth, if nothing else, a B, just because he's so good in it.
Ooh, I don't know if I go that high. He did get nominated for it, though. That's the fucked up
He
part.
is really good in that movie. He's really good. He is really good. It's one of his. It gives an amazing performance. I would give him a B any day of the week.
A better movie and a better performance for Sylvester Stallone.
You're not
and that was not even a decade earlier.
You know what? Let's put a pin in this because we're going to talk a little bit more about this when we get to 2. So who else? Because we haven't got to hear from anybody else. Price, you said a B.
Yes.
Nick and I said about a C. CC, what do you say?
Why is Latino Slant telling me to stop?
In the chat
what? I think he gave a good performance.
Just Latino Slant's giving it a B, so I'm deferring.
To so what does he want from me? I gave it a B too.
Oh, I don't know what he wants.
Sorry, Cece. What did you say?
He said
no. I have not seen it, so I'm just saying.
Oh, you haven't seen it,
Latino Slant is giving it a B, so he can have my vote.
Gotcha. All right.
I'd say it's a B. It's the best of the Creed movies that I saw. I quit watching them when more sequels came out. I just gave up because they were getting worse. So I would say, yeah, it's the best of them, and I'd agree with the B.
I haven't seen it, so we have 2 Bs and 2 Cs.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C. So
I don't think that's fair. I think the chat probably would give it a B.
Well, that's what you gave it, Price. So
right, but the chat, I think most of the people in the chat are saying B as well. I think Tom and Nick are being especially harsh. If this is better than Get Carter, this is better than Get Carter. Get Carter should be a C. Creed could be a B. It's not A and it's not S tier, but B is fair.
like Get Carter, there's a good Stallone performance. Outside of that,
It's just the same movie as Rocky after that. That's the problem.
well, I can forgive the same movie personally, but
well, it's the Force Awakens all over again, basically, is what I mean.
Fine, whatever. Keep it a C. I think it's a B.
But
and I think
I'm leaving it to the audience. I'm leaving it to the audience on this one because we're going to move on to Oscar, and this was a popular one. A few people asked me about this one because this is a funny movie to talk about because of all the things that this movie did, it was expensive, it bombed, and it was pretty much what killed John Landis's career. It wasn't The Twilight Zone, it was this movie, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so for those who have no clue what even Oscar's about, he's a gangster in this. It's actually just it's the play. It's a stage play. It's a goofy, what do you call it? Kind of a comedy of errors of sorts. Basically, it's a mix up of who's wanting to marry who. Because Marissa Tomei plays his daughter, and she's in love with Oscar, and he thinks Oscar is this other guy. And it goes into this whole like just nonsensical, like goofy 1930s kind of gangster thing, and I think it's pretty good. It has grown a cult audience over the years, but it's just notorious for how big of a flop it was at the time. Six, have you ever seen it?
Nope.
All right, so moving on to Red Shirt. Have you seen it?
I've never heard of it.
What are we talking about? Oscar? What are we talking about?
Oscar.
Yes,
I've never
Oscar.
heard of it.
Is this the one that has one of the Golden Girls in it as his mom?
No, that's Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And that one is like a D. That one's a D.
Yeah.
That's a default D.
Honestly, that should almost have its own level. But yeah, no, this is 96, I think it was. It came out somewhere in that era. Maybe a little earlier. Actually, it's probably a little earlier now. 90. What was it? 91, 92 maybe?
91.
Yeah, okay.
1991.
Because Landis had just gotten a comeback with Coming to America, and this killed all that momentum, basically, yeah. Anybody else seen this besides, as I say, somebody
I'm going to give this a C. To be fair, though, I have not watched this in such a long time, but when I saw this, I think it was the early 2000s, I just was kind of like, Like, it was just like fine, but there's like Get Carter, like Creed. There's nothing about that I want to come back to. This
is what I recall about Oscar. Many years ago, and this was when there was still video stores, I saw it at the video store, and I thought, wow, this is a Stallone movie. And this was not too long after it came out, I think. I was young. And then I said, wow, this is cool. I love Stallone. I'll take this movie. Like, this is going to be great. And then I think I took it home. I watched maybe half an hour of it or something, and I said, wow, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I shut it off and never watched it again.
To be fair, how old were you when it came out?
I don't know. I was young. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What year did it come out?
91.
I was 12.
All right. I mean, I was already, I don't want to give an exact age. I wasn't an adult at the time.
Now, we're not going to be able to do this for every damn movie. But this one I feel like needs to be shown as a trailer, just so people see what I'm talking about. Because it's almost like you have to.
The year is 1931, and gangster Snaps Provolone is in control. The police are powerless. His rivals are helpless.
It's a lot like Johnny
No
Dangerously.
one in the entire city dares to defy him, except his daughter.
I'm a modern 30s woman. Look!
Put that away of your father!
She'll do anything, anywhere, with anybody.
Your daughter and I are lovers. What?
Did he tell you I was pregnant?
What?
Touchstone Pictures presents Sylvester Stallone in the story of a father
What we need is a husband.
trying to find someone
No, look at us.
who will marry his daughter.
I've decided to go away to a convent.
Well, you're a little late.
Maybe it'll be Anthony,
But I love Thornton!
or Thornton,
I want Oscar!
or Oscar.
Who's Oscar?
He's got pimples!
A couple of dates with you and that'll clear up.
But whoever she decides to spend her life with,
You mean she's having the chauffeurs, baby?
it's sure to ruin his life.
I just came from Lisa's bedroom.
You and everybody else.
Sylvester Stallone, Oscar.
It seems to have aged as well as I remember it. It's still in the big
It still doesn't look good.
Wait a minute. Snaps provolone?
Yes.
Oh, no. That would not have made me want to watch that movie. That trailer would not have made me want to watch it.
It's a lot like Johnny Dangerously. That's what I was saying before. I don't know if you heard me or not, but I don't know. It's got a cult following. God, I don't know where to put it.
So, wait a minute. So does Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit.
If you gave Creed a C, then it has to be a C. It no way doesn't deserve more than that.
Well, Creed might go up yet, so we'll see on that.
What did Cece give it?
An A.
Oh shit, Cece, what did you see it? Or
I
not?
haven't. I didn't know it exists.
Well, to me.
And Price, you didn't give a letter. You said something about.
I said it was a C.
Oh, I wasn't listening. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
That was my CC.
We'll leave it in the
impression.
C's for now. But SFX Sabretooth Raptor says Oscar B tier for one of his comedy movies. So yeah, I would have probably put it up there, but yeah, I'm being outvoted.
I think if you super chat $10, your vote should count the same as
It
ours.
might. Expendables 3 is the next one on the list. Anybody want to see that?
I'm gonna go with a C, maybe even teetering on D. And sadly, the reason why I consider C and not D is because Mel Gibson is a great villain. No disrespect to Stallone, but Gibson was the shining star in this one. But that's the shining star in a movie that was not good. And I hate it because I wanted to love this. So it really broke my heart not liking this.
I actually don't mind the third one, but we got 2 C's so far. CC, have you seen it?
No.
All right, red shirt.
Pretty sure I did not see this one. I think this is where I stopped watching them.
6, have you seen it?
I don't think so, but I could have sworn we already talked about it. So I feel like I don't know what the hell's going on right now.
This is Expendables 3.
I know
the
but
poster looks
talk about
exactly
it?
the same. No, we only talked about Expendables 1.
No, last week we talked about it because Mel Gibson was in it, and now we're talking about it again.
because Mel Gibson's in it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, he plays the main villain.
Crack.
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to quit smoking crack.
All right, Tom, what's your rating?
Shit. I don't hate it, so I'm gonna throw it in the C, and I'll tell you why when we get to Expendables 2.
Jesus Christ.
Copland is next.
You put it in C though, because we have 3 C's.
Oh,
yeah, I put it in C.
Okay.
Copland
is next.
Copland is at least a B.
No. Copland is at least an A.
I can live with that. It's a good movie.
Copland is a who's who of police procedural law, legal shows like Law and Order. I mean, it's got everybody in it, and Goodfellas. I mean, it was 20 years worth of some of the best actors playing in movies like this, with roles on either side of the law. And Sylvester Stallone acted his ass off in this. It's just believable as the sad sack of a sheriff that couldn't hack it as a New York cop, and he idolizes these guys until he finds out there's really something wrong going on in his town. And he's just an elected sheriff. He's not trained. He's not been to the police academy or any of those things. And it has a great final act. So I loved this movie. I would give it an A.
All right. 6, have you seen it?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Nick?
I'm going to give it an A. My only issue is I haven't rewatched it enough to soak it all in, but I remember really liking this one when I watched it the one time.
CC?
Nope.
Price?
Wow.
It's somewhere for me between an A and a B, but I could go with A. It has a stellar cast, and interestingly, I once met, I don't want to say the name, but I met somebody who played like a key role as far as the production goes that made it, and they were so disappointed that it didn't, when it came out, that it didn't do better than it did because everybody thought it was such a good movie, but people just didn't understand what it was, and I think they didn't understand what Stallone. Unfortunately, I think Stallone being in it may have hurt it at the time because they weren't looking at him as like a more serious actor, and they thought maybe it's like a dumb movie.
Yeah, here's my thing with it. I have not seen it in a while. I do remember it. I do remember quite a bit of it. I remember it. It's one of those movies where it feels like if my feeling of the film from memory is, what I'm trying to say, is that it has a better cast than it does a story.
Maybe.
But I could be wrong. I haven't watched it in a long time. Like, we're talking close to 15, 20 years. And I do need to revisit it. So I'm going to leave it where it's at right now because I know it's one of those films that has grown in, like, it's, people now realize how good of a film it was after the fact kind of thing.
I would have accepted a B also, by the way, but it's somewhere between A and B for me. Like, this cast is so good. And you're right. The screenplay is just okay. The cast is spectacular.
It's I would put it this way. It's an incredibly slow burn of a movie. It takes a very long time to really start to get moving. And I think they spent a lot of time fleshing out Sylvester Stallone's character and what he's missing about what's going on in his town. How much he's just, oh yeah, I'll look the other way. I'll take her home. I'll deal with this. I'll do that. And then the third act is only like the last 10 minutes of the film when he finally decides enough is enough. So I think in that regard, yes, the screenplay could have been paced better. But yes, it's got an incredible cast. And it's a bunch of very good performances with what is probably not the best script that could have been written for this story and this cast. So I still think it works, but you got to be patient with this film when you're watching it. It feels like a 1960s film, not, a film that came out when it did. Which I'm just about to look up here on IMDb to find out what year this was, Copland.
I want to say it was like 96 or something like that.
97. Yeah.
97.
I mean,
yeah.
it feels like a movie from 1967, but it came out 30 years later. And by 1997, people expected, movies to be paced faster. This one isn't.
Well, and I know it was post Sly and off of some of his worst performing films, like things that we were just talking about before, like Judge Dredd and a few other ones, like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot and a few other ones. So yeah, like at that time, I mean, this was an interesting turn for him because he gained, what was it, like 40, 50 pounds for the role?
It looks like it. He sure as hell doesn't look like he's about to make a Rocky film.
Yeah, this one just kind of, it doesn't really have the conversation that.
Yeah.
Well,
anybody else seen it though?
I have.
And what did you say? You said, what scores do we have?
I said it's between an A and a B, but if everybody wanted A, I wouldn't keep it from being there. Although if it was a B, I could live with that too.
Nick said A, Red Shirt said A.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I really enjoy it. I can see why people don't, but I really enjoyed it.
All right, well, we need to keep moving along here. We got Escape Plan next. No, you're fine. And the only reason the sequels are not on here is because they were straight to video, and he's hardly even in the third one.
No, that doesn't even count. For him to barely be in that, that was...
The second one he's in, evil. But they're both straight to video, so... Escape Plan 1, though, did go to theaters and was Sly and Arnold together.
Yes,
so what did you guys think about it? Six, have you seen it?
Never heard of it.
All right, Red Shirt?
S.
Oh, you're gonna put it in the S tier. Wow.
I want it to be S tier. I was blown away by this movie. This has the you talk about how Copland's script left you cold and it wasn't the best story. This thing has twists and turns to it. It has
a great villain.
Sly Stallone is the expert, and it turns out he's been put in here not by people who want him to disappear forever. But he's been put in here by somebody who's already there, who has massive connections, and he's even given codes that will tell the guy this is the guy who's coming to rescue you from this prison. I was amazed at how they did the reveals of all of the intricacies of this story, and he plays a very believable expert in his field. So I was like, how come I never heard about this movie? I watched it this weekend, was like, wow. So, yeah, I think this is one of his iconic movies. It has Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same movie. They're teamed up. They're not opponents. And it's fantastic. It is Jim Caviezel is the bad guy, and boy, is he a believable bad guy. So
Great villain.
Yeah, he's a great villain.
Seriously, a great villain.
Yeah, I'd go with A. I'd go with S.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got S tier from Red Shirt. Nick?
No. If I'm going to go, I would go for an A, but I will also go for an S for my theatrical experience because I probably laughed the hardest I ever did at any movie that was an action movie because of one scene when Stallone decked Arnold in the face. And he's like, "You hit like a vegetarian." And I thought to myself, that was so freaking funny, but it also doesn't make sense because how does a vegetarian hit? Two, if I got hit by Stallone, carnivore or vegetarian, I'm sure I would die. So the fact that Schwarzenegger's comeback line was so funny because it made no sense. So I'll go with an A, but my theatrical experience was an S. And then it was silent.
Price, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry, Sadie was bugging me.
I'll be honest with you, I've never seen it.
You should. Oh, no, never mind. You'd hate it. You'd hate it.
I would? Escape Plan? Why would I hate it?
It is not a movie to be taken seriously at all.
It isn't?
No. Are you kidding me? No.
It's not a good movie, Escape Plan?
No, it's a great movie. It's just not a movie to take seriously.
I can enjoy a movie even if it's not serious. It's not that it has to be like spectacular. I like Stallone stuff, even stuff that, maybe doesn't have the best screenplay. It's a good action movie or something. I may like it.
Mm-hmm.
Price likes to laugh.
Yeah, this movie goes more for laughs than action.
I laugh all the time.
Yeah, we can tell.
CC, have you seen it?
I remember the trailer and that I probably should have watched it, and then I didn't. Now I'm thinking I should.
All right, I liked it. I don't know if I'd put it on S tier like Red Shirt would. It is good. It is a good film. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. It was so good that I ended up watching the 2 crappy sequels. So
God.
Yeah.
That makes it an S right there. If you sat through both sequels on the basis of the first
I gotta
movie,
throw it up at least the A tier, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I can give it S tier yet. We haven't gotten one single S tier yet movie on here. That bothers me.
Oh, they're coming.
Cliffhanger should be on there. It just bothers me, but all right, we're getting to the next goofier one on the bunch. This is the one that made an exception for, and that's the Lords of Flatbush. I already told my spiel about it. So has anybody besides me even seen it?
Haven't seen it.
No.
Nope.
Red Shirt? No?
Nope.
CC?
Nope.
I should have just left it off the list then. Because it's not a very great film. It's all right. It's more iconic just for what it is and what it, and
What's
who's
it
in
called?
The Lords of Flatbush.
Huh.
So I'm going to throw it in C.
It's like Rocky in Brooklyn if he'd never learned boxing.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And I've never seen it. I've seen the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, and read about it. I'm like, yeah, no. I'll go back and watch Rocky again.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's Death Race 2000, where he plays a bad guy in it one of the few times.
Never heard of it.
Nobody else has seen it besides me?
This.
I've seen
remember,
it.
No, I've seen it
I was going to say.
I've seen it once.
Frankenstein! Frankenstein!
Yes. It is so cornball. It is like isn't this a Roger Corman film?
It absolutely is like the most Roger Corman of all Roger Corman films.
Yes. This is a B movie in every sense of the word.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, that was where
I'll
I was
go with the
headed
B
to.
for it. I'll go with the B for it. I've only watched it once. I enjoyed it, and it's redonkulous. But sadly, I never once again, like another one, I never got to really soak it in.
I will say this. I had friends in high school, late in high school, when we all were driving, and we used to joke about playing a game called Pedestrian Polo. And it was based on this movie and a Harlan Ellison book, short story. And basically it was kind of like, 2 wheels on the sidewalk is 50 points, 3 wheels on the sidewalk is manslaughter.
Yeah, this is a fucked up movie for those who haven't seen it. Price, have you seen it?
Lords of Flashbush?
No. We're on Death Race 2000 now.
I don't think I saw that one either. Sorry.
All right, CC?
No, I haven't, actually.
Nick, you saw it, you said? No, you haven't? Okay. 6, I doubt you said you haven't even heard of it. So yeah, I'm going to throw it in the B category. This movie's crazy as fuck.
Really? Really?
Yes, yes, it is crazy as fuck. Okay. It's in a weird way. Jason Statham did a remake of it, like what, 10, 15 years ago, something like that?
Yes.
Maybe
with
20
Ian
now?
McShane.
Yeah, with Ian McShane. Wow. The remake is meh. Like, it has the kind of same concept, but it's only a remake, mostly in name only. Like, because the original movie...
Well, the remake tries to take itself seriously, which is
and not only that, it's like guys in prison, I think, are forced to drive in the death race. Like, no, in the original film, the whole idea is these guys are like treated like sports stars, right? Like, and they go on this cross country race where the points are tallied by how many people they kill, right? And people will sacrifice themselves up to the death racers, right? Like, so it's a fucked up, like post-apocalyptic kind of movie almost. And it's got like some wild cars, and it's of its era. It's very mid to early 70s, if I remember. I can't remember when it came out. I think it was 73, 74, somewhere in there. But it feels like it. And you got David Carradine as the star. And he plays Frankenstein, who's supposed to be this mangled, cobbled together racer who's like the best racer of all. And then Sylvester Stallone's character is like his arch enemy. Mm-hmm. And it is just fun. It is just balls out fun for like 90 minutes, if that. And if you haven't seen it, it's a little harder to find now, but it's fun. So okay. Anyhow, moving on, we got Grudge Match. We got Raging Bull versus Rocky. Now, this is a movie that was kind of, I felt like, underrated in a way. What about you guys? Anybody want to speak up on this one first?
Sadly, I've not seen this one, even though I knew about it.
This?
I know. Hey, I have a life. Sometimes, I miss things. I was a late bloomer to Spaceballs, remember?
Has anybody else seen this besides me?
No, I haven't.
Fucking kidding me.
I remember the trailer now.
Because it wasn't too long after Rocky Balboa, if I remember right.
So what's your ranking, Tom?
I thought it was like a B or C at least. I thought it was pretty good. It's
nice.
It's a fun little like comedy. It's about these two over the hill boxers who get together to do this rematch from when they were younger, and it's fun. I don't know. I thought it was fun. The audience is giving it like a C, I guess. It looks like a couple D's. Our C is so loaded up.
Yeah, but look at what's coming up though. Look at the list that's coming up. It's gonna get kicking up though. That's the thing.
All right, well,
it's almost like we're getting the C's and out of the way because it's about to get some A's and B's and some S's.
I'm getting some B or C's. It's a comedy from RJ Godzilla. Yeah, it was kind of a comedy. Yeah. They both had the same girlfriend. That was the other catch. Yeah. Well, that was kind of what their whole rivalry was about.
Oh, yeah. Eskimo Brothers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a B. All right, because here we go. We got Creed 2. Now, the reason I said hold off on what I feel, because this movie I felt was superior by far.
Oh,
the first film. Once you get past all the bullshit of the first film, this is the movie we've been waiting for. Yep. We get to see Ivan Drago come back with his son, and you get to face down between Apollo Creed, the man who killed his father's son, right? So it's this ultimate, the two sons battling, also facing off are the two, the remaining father and the father. It's pure fucking cinema. It's pure fucking cinema, and it's the only reason I will accept Creed, because I love this movie.
Agreed. This one for me redeems the first Creed by a landslide. I will even go as far as to give this one an A. I love this sequel, and you get tons of great performances, tons of them. I love this. It's very rewatchable too. I have definitely basked in the glory of Creed 2, and I
have
love.
you not seen this one, Red Shirt?
Michael B. Jordan in this.
I'm looking right now to see if I think,
because even if you didn't like Creed, this is say fuck that, because this is the one you want to see anyway.
Right,
if you're a Rocky fan,
yes,
that's a beauty.
Yeah,
this is the straight up sequel to Rocky 4. Yes,
yes.
I actually, I don't know. I think that I like the first Creed better than the second Creed. I'm sorry.
It's too bad that Price had to go to his home planet. No, I'm just
All right, hey Donald, you missed one. Tell Holman we missed one.
I would have given Creed the first one a B and then this one like a C, but whatever, it's fine.
I know. I agree. This is better than the first one because I'm looking at pictures from it. I'm like, yes, I remember that, and yeah, I really like this movie. So
maybe both of them Bs. I could have given them both Bs. I don't know. I know some people got excited over the second Creed because of the Drago angle. I just thought that everything was a bit too convenient in a way that just didn't sit well with me, but it's fine.
I don't know. I really loved how this thing lingered all this time, and it basically got between their marriage, and he's like trying to make his son a champion to prove that he's trying to live vicariously through his son, and the whole thing. Like, I just thought it was great. It's great,
I'm with you, Tom.
All right. We got to make some executive decisions. Anybody else here seen this one besides us six? Anybody?
What did Red Shirt give it?
I'll give it an A or a B. I'll go with either of them.
Okay, you're going to give it an A.
I think it's an A.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Cece?
Welcome VR raid.
Yes,
Hello.
thank you for the VR raid.
Cece didn't see it.
Okay, so CC didn't see it. So yeah, we're gonna throw it up there in the A's.
What are you giving it, Tom?
Oh, I would give it S tier, but that's just me. I'm gonna settle with an A.
Okay.
Since Price has got to be so down on it.
I would have given both Creeds like a B, but I don't know if you love it so much and give it an A.
Creed 2 to me is the ultimate. Like I said, if it wasn't for Creed 2, I would completely disregard the Creed films. Mm-hmm. Like I outside of Sly's performance in that first one, I think the movie's bad. Because it's basically nothing but a straight up rip off of Rocky, and a lot of it makes no sense for all the reasons we just said. By the time you get to this movie, none of that shit matters anymore.
You have a poll for Creed going.
And it looks like B1.
Oh, yeah.
Creed.
I forgot all about that.
Thank you, Josh.
Now I can't. Hang on. I got the
That's fine.
The rain
I
thing.
told you it would be a B.
Is it going up to B? God damn it.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm going to move
but
it
then
for now.
That makes Creed 2 an A. The chat seems to be
maybe I'll move it up to S tier. Fuck it.
Chat is always right.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, we do gotta roll with the chat.
All right. Now we're gonna get our first S tier film. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Oh yeah!
Demolition Man.
Dude.
Hell yeah!
Absolutely.
Yeah. Demolition Man. You can
Nothing's
put there.
beating this one.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with it.
I want to say this. I just rewatched that this weekend. I have not laughed that much at a movie starring Sylvester Stallone ever before. Now, I remember when I first saw it, right after it came out, I thought, this movie is silly. Society would never be that stupid. And I'm watching it this weekend going, oh my God.
It's a fucking documentary now.
It's a documentary. It's great. Yeah.
It's a documentary.
Its rating has gone up. I would have maybe.
The only thing they got wrong is Taco Bell is shittier now.
Yes. You'd get a half credit fine for violating the verbal hygiene law if you describe Taco Bell correctly.
By the way, in the European version, he said Pizza Hut instead of Taco Bell, and they have this crappy overdub. Have you ever watched the overdub?
It's actually for the first time in America now, because Arrow put it on 4K very recently, actually, Price. You can watch it with either the US or the UK version. I watched it with the UK version. It is bad. Like, they did not even really do that much to change the shit. Like, they have like a CGI sign. They dubbed it over, and they didn't even bother having them do it both ways on the set. They literally have it dubbed over in the movie, and the dubbing is bad.
The dubbing, he's like, He's like, I want to go to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it's like. But as you can see, his mouth is clearly saying Taco Bell.
Right,
and then they
it's
get so
awful.
lazy that when they get in the restaurant, they don't even bother changing anything on the waiters or the signs or anything. It's all Taco Bell on the inside still.
No, it's the laziest overdub and like.
It was one of the laziest things. I'm watching it, laughing my ass off, thinking because it's this like. Because what Price is talking about for years, it's been like this thing is us in the U.S. have never seen this version, and now that the internet's a thing, and we talk to so many people from overseas, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Pizza Hut in our version," and so like you have this mythical version of the movie in your head where there's this complete alternate scene. Oh no, it's exactly the fucking same. It's even lazy and hilariously badly done. Like the only stuff that's new is like a couple of cutaways. Otherwise, yeah.
You know how I found out?
Funniest thing. Go ahead.
I was living abroad, and I actually had a copy that I got in the U.S. that I was able to watch.
Oh shit!
So I would watch the regular one, and I had a friend there who also liked Stallone and watched the movie. And then he told me, I said, they only eat Taco Bell because we were talking about the movie. He's like, what are you talking about? They only eat Pizza Hut. And I'm like, no, you're mistaken. They only eat Taco Bell. And he's like, no, you're mistaken. They only eat Pizza Hut. And then he had a copy. So I went and looked with him at his copy, and then I saw the Pizza Hut thing, and I'm just like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I mean, there's no real internet at the time to like cross-reference this. It's just like I'm stunned by it, and I figured that because in Europe they didn't have the Taco Bell, they had to make the switch.
That's exactly what it is. Actually, it's because they're the same company. They're both owned by PepsiCo.
Right.
But what it
exactly.
was is at that time, I think they only had like a few Taco Bell restaurants in that area to where they're like, no, we're going to switch it over to Pizza Hut. Speaking of that area, we got 70s Rock fan joining us who probably did see the alternate cut.
It will
initially.
always be Pizza Hut to me. That's what I grew up on, watching it with Pizza Hut. And this Taco Bell thing, what the hell's going on here? What happened?
The funniest thing in the beginning of that movie when he goes to the bathroom, he comes out and he goes, I hate to tell you this, but you're out of toilet paper. And he says, and where the toilet paper should be, there's 3 seashells. And they start laughing at him like he doesn't know what the 3 seashells are for. And he's like, I don't give a fuck what the 3 seashells. Ding! You have just been fined 1 credit. So he goes over to the machine on the wall and starts this absolutely expletive-rated rant against the computer, just calling it all sorts of names.
I'll
and
be right back.
bing, 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 bing. Out come a whole bunch of sheets of paper with his fines, and he pulls them out of it. He goes, problem solved. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I love that. So here's the Pizza Hut scene here.
I would like you to accompany me to Pizza Hut.
For those who missed it.
I would like you to accompany me to Pizza Hut.
That's so
Look
good.
forward to it. Thank you.
Here's another one.
Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut? Sounds like he's in another room.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
The irony being the actor's British, so the only version he would have been able to see would have had Pizza Hut in it.
I love
Pizza
this
Hut?
timeless.
Pizza Hut? I mean, hey.
There's
My
it.
reward is dinner and dancing to Pizza Hut? I mean, hey.
they do it like a half a dozen times too. It's literally just the same movie, and then this is the only other shot. So this is a cutaway shot. So they have this, and then there's one other shot here. Let me see if I can find it, because this is the only time they must have spent any money, if they have the whole bit here. Okay, so here it is. Yeah. So on the original version, on this van, they CGI'd the sign from Taco Bell to Pizza Hut right there.
Yep.
That's the only other thing they changed. Otherwise, it's all cut. And they put it there too, obviously. That they reshot that, but I think they just put it there with CGI.
CGI.
Yeah, because otherwise, the only other bit that's is a cutaway is when they have the little canister of food. Instead of saying Taco Bell, it says Pizza Hut. But you can clearly see that the canister that they have before that is still the Taco Bell canister, but I can't find the shot here. But anyway, we need to keep moving. So
Well, what's everybody's ratings?
Oh, it's S tier all the
It's
fucking way.
S tier.
It was
Yeah,
S10, and then for me SS, because I was going, no,
Say that
I know at the time this movie. Here's the crazy part: a lot of people don't know this movie did okay at the box office. Its critical and audience acclaim actually was something that took a bit of time to get there. But you have great performance from Stallone and Snipes. And Snipes is an unsung hero as well because he is awesome.
It actually
in this
did
movie.
very, very well overseas compared to
Oh
US,
yeah,
actually.
overseas was
It actually gained like
overseas is
2/3
kind
of its
action
box
movies.
office was overseas.
It was huge in Britain. Huge.
So you're
Yeah.
putting it on the same level as Rocky?
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
It's
oh, yeah.
S tier.
Well, I'm
put
giving
it
it an
above
A
Rocky.
in case anybody cares, which they don't, but that's fine.
I
In
get
this
it.
case, 6, I'm sorry to say that
CC,
it's
what's
Demolition
your
Man.
This
what's
is
your
one of the
vote?
greatest movies ever made.
It's not a
Nothing's
movie.
beating
It's
that.
a prophecy.
Game over.
It's prophecy. It's
Exactly.
the prophecy from on high. It's not a movie. It's the word.
6, I love you, dear, but if we didn't put this in S tier, I think we'd be lynched by the chat.
This is an excellent movie. I'm not saying this is not an excellent movie. I'm just saying it's not as excellent as Rocky.
We're not getting into
That's
that
why
argument because I
I'm
said
not-
it in the front.
That's why
That
I'm
it's
not
about
putting it on the same level
iconography.
as Rocky.
Isn't
that's
that a
fair.
movie? Isn't that a movie that they owed Stallone like $20 million and forgot to pay him, and then years later he sued them or something, and they had to pay him $20 million?
Demolition Man?
And that's what I thought. Yeah,
Maybe because of all the money it did actually make. That's possible.
maybe he had a back end deal of like later sales and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they never gave it to him. I thought that he sued them, and in more recent years they suddenly had to pay him like $20 million. I could be wrong.
I think you're right because I think a sequel. That's one of the reasons I think they didn't have a sequel in all these years, and now they're talking about a sequel finally, which I kind of hope doesn't happen almost in a weird way because it's like I hope it doesn't ruin it. But all right, so you guys,
Yeah,
guys said
here
we're-
he didn't receive. This is from 2019. They kept his participation for like 20 years. They didn't pay him.
They just forgot to pay him.
It was an
That's all.
accounting error, apparently.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood accounting. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you take half of 160 million, which is what it made altogether, right? That means it grossed somewhere in the like $75 million, and it only cost 59. Yeah, so he's owed probably quite a bit yet. And then you add
He
in the
settled
video
out of
sales
court.
and DVD sales and all that shit. Oh fuck yeah!
He
Oh,
reached
yeah.
an out-of-court settlement, apparently.
Because this actually came out when there's still video sales and DVD sales, so you're talking millions.
Yeah.
Hell, I've got 2 versions of it on Blu-ray,
Right.
and I don't know why.
I've got
Got
3
2
or 2 at
copies.
least.
One
yeah.
with
Two
Taco
Blu-rays.
Bell.
Yeah, one
Maybe.
with Taco Bell, one with
Maybe. Yeah.
All right, well, let's keep moving. We got Tango and Cash next. 6. Have you ever seen Tango and Cash?
What's it about?
Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone are cops. I think one's DEA and one's
Don't drop the soap.
FBI, isn't it?
It's super familiar. I could see the poster in my head, but I couldn't. I'm sure I've seen it, but
It was the last movie released in the 80s.
for all intents and
Yeah.
purposes, I'll just say
It's-
no, I haven't seen it because I don't remember it. So
There's a great
Yeah.
homoerotic moment, a few of them in this movie, like really great. There's a great homoerotic dialogue in this one.
Mhm.
Now, by bias, Nick will say A, but as far as I guess you could say memorability, and people are probably gonna give it a B to be very fair. But man, do I love because it's got Stallone and Kurt Russell together, who are some of my favorites, and also Stallone takes shots at himself with Rambo. Rambo, that guy's a pussy. It's hilarious.
I wanted to watch this, didn't get time today because too many things got in the way. But what I remember of seeing the promos for this movie was being surprised that Sylvester Stallone was dressed in a suit. He was
Yes.
always very well put together. And Kurt Russell is dressed like, he's Captain Bob or whatever his name was when he was the captain of a charter sailboat. And I
He's
was
kind of like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon minus the crazy.
right. And that's, to me, that was my first thought. It was like, I want to see this because this reminds me of when Neil Simon cast for the movie The Odd Couple. He wanted wanted Jack Lemmon to play the slob. And he wanted Walter Matthau, who always looked like an unmade bed, to play the prim and proper one. And Matthau said, no, I want to play the slob, and he's like, "Well, you're either going to play the fastidious one, or you're not going to be in this movie because I have creative control." And so Neil Simon got his way because he was the playwright. They were adapting his play, The Odd Couple, and it worked perfectly by casting the two actors against type and making them work for it. And they didn't do that in the TV series. The TV series they cast them at type. And I always thought
Tony Randall and Jack Klugman were pretty good in those roles for the TV show.
They
were, but they weren't the way Neil Simon wanted it cast, is all I was saying.
Screw him.
Yeah. What does he know? He just wrote the play.
He's never written anything in his life.
But yeah, I wanted to watch this, and I didn't get around to it today.
Not a real book.
I was intrigued. I'll say that. This looks like a movie I will be watching in the near future. But I can't give it a grade.
Such a stellar supporting cast as well when you look at it. All these great genre, like Clint Howard, Jeffrey Lewis, Breon James. It's just packed full of great character actors in the supporting cast.
Didn't Neil Simon also write Brighton Beach and Biloxi Blues? But then he cast one actor, and then in the sequel he cast Matthew Broderick, who looked nothing like the original actor.
That's right, he did.
Both of those movies were kind of snoozy, to be honest with you. But hey, let's
anyway,
not
back
go
to Tango and Cash. Look, I'd like to put it at S tier, but I just don't feel like it's
somewhere between an A and a B. That's the truth. I mean,
it hasn't lived up to
that's fair. That's fair. I can understand why one wouldn't. I love it. My bias is A, but I understand people might not like it as much as me. So that
when it comes to fun and like this great buddy comedy when it came out, and the way I feel about it, I could see it being an A. But if I was more honest, like being a critic, it could also be a B. Terry Hatcher doesn't seem like she's the little sister of Stallone. She was way too young to be a sister. She does look very nice in the movie, and there's a lot of other very convenient things that happens in it, but there's something fun, undeniably fun about it, and it's fun seeing Stallone and Kurt Russell.
Both action movies are very convenient.
We are ranking these against each other, not against movies in general. Like this is the Stallone
it's not even really
ranking.
so much against it's okay. So yeah, since you weren't here at the beginning, the kind of way we're looking at it is yes, it's kind of partially more so like the S tier is like the more iconic stuff, regardless of whether or not the movie is considered a 10 out of 10 or an Oscar caliber film or not. It's just how iconic it is because of them or because they're in it. And then from there on out, it's kind of like you rate them as.
So it is like movies. A high B then. It's kind of
it's like a high B, A, somewhere in there, A minus, somewhere in there, yeah. I'll leave it in the A because it is beloved. Because I know everybody's going to argue about this next one being in the S tier. Cobra.
What did CC say?
Oh, what did CC rate Tango and Cash? Sorry.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, he hasn't seen it. He said he hadn't seen most of these.
How can you go through your life without seeing Tango and Cash?
Yeah, but I want to ask him.
No,
There's
you're
still
fair.
a column in
You're
my
fair.
Excel spreadsheet.
Look, I had a lot of actors I gravitated towards growing up, like Bruce Willis. I watched all the Bruce Willis movies multiple times, and Sly, I overlooked him. I just gotta be honest with that. I was like, Rocky 2 was sitting right next to Police Academy on the shelf in the video store that I went to.
You fucking Canadian.
I rented Police Academy.
That is the most Canadian thing you've ever said ever in my presence. Goddamn Canadians.
Anyway.
All right, Cobra. I know Nick wants it on S tier right off.
Oh, I'm instant S
Right
for
off
me.
the list.
I don't know. I think that it's more of like a B plus, or if I was very, very generous, like an A minus. It's somewhere between an A and a B. Cobra.
I hate to sound like Price, but yeah, it's not one of my favorite Sly films. But I know everybody else loves it so much.
It's an S movie. At the time, it did pretty good, but its acclaim once again was a slow mover. His performance as Marion Cobretti is freaking fantastic. It's got a great opener at the grocery store. He has a few memorable lines right off the bat. He's so badass that he moves a dude's car out of a parking spot by using his own car to push the car out of the way.
Cuts a pizza up with scissors. Come on.
He cuts a slice of pizza with a pair of scissors.
It's
That is the weirdest scene in the fucking movie.
It's a canon film.
I know
Come
the
on.
audience is turning against me. All right, all right,
This
all
is
right.
where the law stops.
Nick and I are working on it. We're working on them.
Does anybody else, CC, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, 6.
No, I haven't.
Dude, come on.
I can see why
imagery,
people
dude,
wouldn't.
Come on.
But
I think
That
6.
poster
No.
is
6
so
either. You haven't
freaking
seen it?
memorable with the aviators and the gun.
All right. You beat me into submission. Jesus.
I don't know, man.
well
I
played,
think,
Nick.
wait, you put in an S? I don't know,
Yes.
man. I
It
think
is
A.
iconic.
yeah.
It is
A.
iconic.
What? How can you
Yeah.
put that in S?
It is
I don't
iconic.
think so. It's
Nobody
not like
even
it
said
is.
S.
I
don't-
said it.
I said S.
I think the chat
Come
needs
on,
to
that
decide
look at
Because the
that.
chat
Look
is
at
going
that.
S,
Come
S,
on.
S, 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 S,
What's
S.
not
That's
Did you do
S
a
about
poll?
that?
Did you do a poll to let them decide? I don't.
I
think,
can do
think,
a poll, but I'll be honest with you. Like, I get it. Like, and that was my whole point I was getting to. I don't care for this movie, but I can't deny how iconic it is. Just the fact that it only exists because Sly was in Beverly Hills Cop, and they let him take all the ideas that he brought
right,
to
and
that
that's the.
and make his own fucking thing. And then you have the sequel where fucking Judge Reinhold's character has that poster on his fucking wall.
Mhm.
And he literally wants to be Sylvester Stallone in Cobra. You can't take away the iconography of that at that point. Like, it has become the meme or whatever you want to call it at that point in the 80s. Like,
That look has been imitated. Not only has that look been imitated, that poster has been paid homage to several times as well. It's iconic. Iconography has been there just off the fact that it's been imitated, duplicated. It's been there. So you can't say that's like, even if you're not as into, not for me, I love it. I mean, come on. The fact that some guy threatens that he's gonna blow up a grocery store, and then he responds with, "Go ahead, I don't shop here anyways." Come on, best comeback line ever. Tara saw he could threaten Sly. Shit wasn't gonna fly. I just rhymed. Oh yeah, that's I've got that's where he bases aviators off of, because he didn't used to actually wear his aviators on his old videos way back when. It was because people responded to his look with the aviators. That's what made it stick, was the Cobra review.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I question whether it
We're doing
deserves
a
to be
Toxic
considered
Tuesday again
iconic.
on this.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in S tier, but I know it is. I can't deny that. And then the chat is like coming at me. I don't know where 6 went. I don't know if she had to work or what.
She said she had to bail.
She did. I don't know if she has to work tonight or what. Maybe.
You put Cobra in S and she ran away.
If that pissed her off, I'm sorry, but yeah, no. She might have. It could have pissed her off. She's like, you have no semblance of fucking, like, yeah. Like, the rules are out the window with her. It's driving her nuts, I guess. So, sorry about that, 6, if it is. But look,
I think she thought this was a bit disorganized.
Yeah, I think so. And to me, it's like that's kind of the point of it. It is disorganization. Because we're sitting here and arguing about what is iconic and what's not. Because to me, that's the only way I understand the S tier. Otherwise, the S tier makes absolutely no sense to me.
I can tell you this: in the sequel, in Beverly Hills Cop 2, I never noticed that there was a Stallone Cobra poster.
Yep.
He says, Jesus
Never
Christ,
noticed it.
Billy.
I have noticed it.
Yep. No.
Yeah, it's on his wall in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And Eddie looks at it when he makes the phone call, which is even funnier because Brigitte's in the movie too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I'm like, a part of me wishes there's a sequel, but at the same time, it's so pure on its own that I'm almost glad that they did it. He did consider it though at one point. Stallone did consider it, because it actually did fairly good at the box office, but it's now so much more memorable now. And then
yeah. So anybody else got anything else to say about Cobra?
No.
I can understand why people wouldn't put it in S. It's just me and Nick that like it in S.
I don't
the
understand them. I don't
the
understand.
audience has already come at me with that one, so I had to go. Although some people want a poll. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll put it to a poll.
Poll would be good. Yeah.
Maybe
they're gonna bring it down to like a B. Evil.
I
Very
don't know about
evil.
that. They were yelling at me when they were pissed at me for saying what I said. So,
That's it. I'm going to do a 3 a.m. ballot dump on this poll.
It's not something that I consider to be part of, I don't think of it like I think of Demolition Man, but yeah.
You don't.
I just come at it from the point of view, it's the kind of action movie that I love, trashy action movie that I love. So that's why I see it that way. I can understand why other people wouldn't.
Dude, it is so much freaking fun. He has a great third act in there fighting the bad guy. Then you got the guys who do the clunking, ging, ging, and I'm just seeing that. I'm like, what do those guys do during their spare time when they're not bashing metal? Like,
there's always somebody bashing metal in these movies in the 80s.
Oh, hey, you take over. I'm done bashing metal. It's your turn now.
What's that machine over there with the molten metal pouring out?
We got it up to the poll, to the chat, or the chat. We got a poll up in the chat for Cobra. So let me know, guys, what you guys think, and we'll keep moving along here. We got Driven next. This is with Barry Pepper and Sylvester Stallone about the, what is it, Formula One or whatever we call them? Is that what they're called? Right? I'm not a race car guy. I've seen the movie though. I have the DVD. And I just remember it being like cheesy fun, but it's like bad. Yeah.
I watched it once, and you know me, I'm the king of cheese. I'm so creamy with cheesy movies. I may as well be a fucking brie cheese. This movie didn't entertain me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So D for Driven. Anybody else want to comment on it? Anybody seen it?
It's not that good.
Which one? Which one?
Driven.
I didn't see it.
Boring. It's kind of boring in a lot of ways, to be honest.
Like the big scene in it is that street race scene, and it's like all CGI and kind of
And it wasn't Formula One even. I think it was he couldn't get the rights to make it Formula One, so he had to choose kart. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to make it about karts. So it
basically Indy cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about racing. I just knew it was something like that.
So
yeah, we're getting a lot of D's and stuff in the chat, so I'm going to stick with a D. All right, we got Nighthawks next. This movie is fucking... I tell you, the climax scene alone, where he's dressed as a woman. Has anybody else seen this movie?
I love this movie to death. And I'm going to get into trouble because I'm going to want to make it S because I want to make everything I love like
Which one? It's not nowhere near S tier. Nighthawks.
It's obviously going to be at least a B. Or
he's like an undercover cop, and I think Rutger Hauer is the bad guy.
It's Rutger Hauer who's just magnificent.
I don't even remember that one.
And isn't it, who's his partner in it? It's is it Billy D. Williams? Or am I thinking somebody else?
It's Billy D. Williams, I think.
That's what I thought. Okay, it's been a few years since I've seen it. I just remember the final scene where he's dressed as a woman doing dishes.
Billy D. Williams, yeah. He's well, funnily enough, isn't oh no. I was thinking they might no, it's Nigel Davenport. I thought maybe the same guy was in Demolition Man's in it, the same Brit, but he isn't. Different. It's a different guy.
Oh.
No, it's Billy D. Williams, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
a
I don't
good
know.
movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it up to A tier, maybe B at the most. What do you guys think? Anybody else seen it besides me and Brian?
I give it a B. Stallone has a great perm job in this.
Yeah. He makes a very convincing woman.
He does smell and look like the 70s in this movie.
Yes, he does.
He looks
look
like
is very of its time.
I'm looking at a trailer for it, and Sylvester Stallone looks like the third runner-up in the Frank Serpico lookalike competition.
It came out in that same period, so yeah.
I do love it, but we'll make it a B.
Oh man,
I love it mainly for Rutger Hauer, really.
I mean, he's pretty good in it too. Yeah. I was trying to find the fucking final dishwasher scene. I can't find it here on YouTube. Oh well, fuck it. We need to keep moving. It is a free. It is one of those fun films. So I'm gonna put it in the B. Let's put it in the B. Why not? Then we got The Specialist with Sharon Stone. I don't really remember this movie. I remember seeing it, and I just remember it being very immemorable.
I remember watching it once. I didn't like it. I would go with a C or a D, preferably a D in my opinion.
There's a scene in the shower where Stallone is doing naughty things to Sharon Stone. For that, I would give it somewhere between a C and a B. It really deserves a C. Maybe it gets a C plus because of that scene.
Yeah, I've seen it once.
I've seen it once also, but I still remember the scene. So I guess I like that scene.
You put it in the bank. You put that one in the bank.
Put it in the bank, yeah. But maybe that's juvenile of me to give points for a shower scene.
Not at all. I think these things are important.
That's exactly what we're supposed to give points for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know
I think these things do matter. I mean, like, it was Gina Gershon was in Driven. I almost put it up to a C for that, you know.
Right.
No, I don't recall it. It never left an impression. I've seen it, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to go on D level unless anybody's got a good.
I would give it a C.
C,
but
I think it was C.
You could give it a C. It's not a complete disaster. It's just not very memorable.
It's far more interesting than Driven.
All right.
Yeah, at least there's a nice lady in it.
Now here's one I haven't seen, and I kind of feel bad that I haven't. Assassins with Antonio Banderas.
Oh, I've seen
Nobody
that
else?
one.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Okay.
I feel like it's in the same category as The Specialist. There's nothing particularly interesting about it. I saw it once. I probably thought it was okay, and I remember seeing it. I know exactly what it is, but to tell you that I remember every aspect of it, I don't really. I'd put it in a C.
Yeah, I just don't. I've seen it. Don't. Again, it didn't leave a huge impression, even at the time. It's a Wachowski's thing, isn't it? I don't think they
is it?
directed
I
it.
didn't know.
I think they wrote it.
Back then, they were the Wachowski brothers, by the way.
That's right, they
Yes.
were. Yes.
Did you guys say B or C? Who else needs to chime in on this?
I
think
give
the
it.
chat
I'm going to
should tell
go
us.
with a C on this
C?
one. I remember when I first saw this was a movie, I was so excited to watch this. I'm like, it's called Assassins. It's got Stallone. It's got Banderas. What could go wrong? And then reality was a rare moment of disappointment. With a movie which at the time was a half hour, 40 minutes, way too long as well. I wanted to love this and I was disappointed.
It's
So I'm
just
going to go
again
with
a little bit boring, and I don't
I
think
can't believe I didn't
Sly's-
like this. I was so mad.
Uh,
I questioned my own sanity. I questioned myself because I
kinda
thought
think-
this was going to be an S tier.
I think
Boy,
Sly kind of dialed it in this one. I don't think it was really. He phoned it in a lot. It just didn't seem like he was that engaged in it. It's weird. I think Banderas was better than he was in it.
agreed.
Anybody
Some
else?
action, yeah. There was some action in it. But
So we got C's or B's? I'm missing the.
I do C for me, but
Nick, would you say?
C, sadly. I
C,
still
have you seen
still
it?
feel awful about giving it a C because I wanted to love it.
Yeah. CC, have you seen it?
No.
All right. Price?
Which one?
Assassins with Antonio Banderas.
Yes, I've seen it. C.
C. So we got 3 C's basically. Red shirt, did you say if you've seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, we're gonna throw it in the C category. That's getting a fat category. All right. Next we got
Well, this
Paradise
is,
Alley.
let me just throw something out here right now. That this movie, for example, was 1995, and Stallone went through a period, like Victory, which I kind of liked, but never saw it again. It got hard to find. His star kind of dimmed for a while after Rocky, and he got the reputation for being in not being able to, basically he got the reputation for not being able to read a script. So he was making some movies he probably shouldn't have made. And for a while I ignored him, and then I started to come back to revisit some of the movies. And I'm sure we're going to talk about at least one of them, and I am definitely going to be interested in talking about that.
This is also leading into his straight to video period too.
Yeah. So
sorry, I stepped away. Which one are we talking about now?
Well, no, I was
Still
just
talking about
Oh, we're
Assassins.
still talking about Assassins. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just saying that when Tom was complaining, there's a lot of C's here. I said, well, there was a period of time in his career when he made a lot of C grade movies. You know, they didn't really do great at the box office. People didn't talk about them. I didn't hear them at work around, you know, the water cooler at work type of thing. And you know, they never got on my radar. So it's not surprising that he's got a bunch of movies at that level. But he has some iconic performances, and we've talked about several of them already.
Mm-hmm. He's still good, even in stuff that's not good. He's definitely one of those guys where he could definitely elevate something, but you'll notice a significant quality dip, whether when he's not on screen or if he's just in a story that's overall not good.
Yeah.
All right. So next, well, actually, let's do some super chats here. We got a few up.
Yeah.
That have been waiting for a bit. ActionCom sends in 2 and tells us Lords of Flashbush is American Graffiti, but cynical. I was trying to think of a way to explain it. That's probably the best way. Right there, ActionCom. You're not wrong. And then Tornado sends in another 10 and says the panel needs to watch more movies. This is not untrue, Tornadoes. But we don't give everybody a lot of time.
I've seen all of these.
85-90% of these. I think
I've seen
that's
all of
very
these,
fair
I
to
think.
say.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good this week compared to last week. But
I'm
yeah.
older, so I've seen them all.
I'm bringing down the average.
Indeed.
It's all my fault.
Well, you're Canadians. We'll let that pass. But no, you're not totally wrong, Tornadoes. SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor says, I am surprised Stallone didn't do any World War II stories. Well, he technically did with
Victory
but
is. Or
I think he
Escape
would.
to Victory, as it was called in the UK.
Yeah, I would do good. I think he would do good in that era. Well, yeah, it's too bad he didn't do more of that era. I guess you're right. Oscar was kind of that period too, sort of, kind of in a way. But yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, it's just one of those things he just never really got into. Jason Webster says, my favorites are First Blood, Nighthawks, Rocky, and Copland. Oh, there you go. Most of those we've already gotten through, but a couple of those
choices,
we haven't yet.
Yeah.
ActionCom says, speaking of Demolition Man, have you been to a Wendy's that have been converted into a bistro, fireplace and all? No, I haven't. Is this a thing? Are they still a Wendy's or what's the deal? Yeah, I never heard of
Wendy's is still around. I got several by me.
that. And he also asks, who has been to
seen the bistro?
Pizza Hut bistro. I know they were doing them. I've never been in one. I think I've seen one place, but I haven't actually been in it. And yes, I am aware they do exist. This is true. But Pizza Hut sucks so bad now.
Dude, whatever they did to change their grades, and granted, it wasn't great that, but it was drastically better than what it was now. I mean, it was chain pizza. It wasn't never meant to be the best thing. It was there because the price is right. But now the price doesn't even save it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sad because I used to really still enjoy them, even if they just barely got the job done.
And then we got Dead Man who says, if you did a tier list of Star Trek movies, Section 30 would be lower than an F. I don't even know if I'd put it in with the Star Trek movies. I don't think it deserves to be in the same league as those. Yeah. To me, to me, at best, it was an overrated pilot. That's really what it was.
I mean, if there's a tier below F, it would be like does not qualify. That would be the tier.
Or circular file.
I mean, if you're going to count that as a movie in the Star Trek universe, then so is Measure of a Man in the first episode of TNG and shit like that. Then get my drift on that? Like, yeah. That's really all it is. It's just an elongated episode of a show that never is going to be. So, on that note, Paradise Alley is our next movie. Who else has seen this one? This is about wrestling. And he's a promoter.
I've seen it.
Never seen it.
Never
It's
seen
kind
it.
of boring. It's all right.
Didn't see it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's so long ago now. I mean, this was like 77 or something. 70, way back in the 70s. Seen it a couple of times since.
Yeah.
It's a drama, really.
From what I remember, though, it was a huge disappointment because I think it was his first
Written and directed by him.
I was going to say, his first directing gig. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's loosely. I don't know if it's based on a true story or not, but I think it's like loosely based on a couple of different people. But
Bill
like,
Conti did do the music for it.
here's the thing: it's during the Depression, if I remember right. And
Yeah, it's a depression. It's three brothers that are professional wrestlers. I think. Hell's Kitchen.
It's a unique idea, but it just wasn't executed very well.
It's kind of like Rocky without the good bits of Rocky.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's that's what it is. It's kind of like Rocky without Rocky. It's a C. It's not as bad as a D. It's interesting, but it's only a C
Bryce,
for me.
have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
CC?
Nope.
Nick?
I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, I want to see this, but it didn't sell me, so I ended up never watching it.
It's not as good as the porn movie he made.
Red shirt? What about you? Have you seen it?
No,
I
I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen it. No.
Yeah, again, I hate to put it in the D tier. 'Cause I
It's
don't know
a
if it's
C.
that bad. It's a C at best. Yeah,
It's
that's
not
the
D
problem.
tier. It's got some interesting stuff in it, but it's a drama rather than.
Now
yeah.
this next one, before we go too much farther here, I mean, I wish I had an F tier on this, and this is my problem with the whole SABCD thing, and I can't figure out how to add another tier to this thing. I haven't figured it out yet. Expendables 4. Fucking horrible movie. Who else has seen it besides me?
Never watched it on purpose.
I didn't bother.
What, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
No.
No,
Expendables 4.
Expendables 4.
Expendables 4.
No, hold on, Tom. It's called Expendables. The way they.
Oh
have
yes, I've seen
Expendables.
it. I've seen
Expendables,
Expendables 4.
like
It's the one.
and four stick.
It's the one that Stallone shows up at the beginning, disappears for like three-quarters of a movie, and shows up at the end.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
that's
think
right.
he's dead. Yeah.
Such a weird. It seems like they filmed it without him, and then they just added him like with reshoots or
Because
something.
they did. Because he got into a dispute with the producers or whatever it was.
I didn't
and then,
like
yeah.
that whole thing. Annoyed me. There's nothing that annoys me more that he wasn't in the movie. You know what I mean? I give that movie somewhere between. If I'm very nice, I'd give it a C. But if I was like less nice, I'd give it a D. But it's in that range. It's like DC range.
I hate it so bad. I wish I could put it in a lower tier. That's what I was saying before. Because, yeah, that's basically what you just said is what it was. Because initially, this wasn't even meant to be Expendables 4. It was meant to be a
was a
spin-off
Christmas,
movie
yeah.
for Jason Statham called A Christmas Story. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they combined it with Expendables 4. And then, yeah, it just turned into a complete and utter fucking mess.
It's pish.
It is very shit. And speaking of shit, we got Stop or My Mom Will Shoot next.
Oh, I tried to rewatch this for the first time because I remember thinking, "Wow, this
Wow,
is
you watched
awful."
my gun.
And I'm thinking, oh, maybe this isn't as bad as I remember. And then I rewatched it, and I couldn't finish it. I think I lasted about 25 minutes, and I was just like, yeah, fuck.
It's
this
almost
movie.
worth the story of how it happened.
Oh, the story is
Right,
better
with
than
Arnold
better than the
Schwarzenegger.
actual
It's
movie,
so
yeah.
bad.
itself.
So bad Schwarzenegger turned it
It's like,
down.
well, I'm gonna get Sly to do this movie.
And it worked. He trolled him, and he got him.
I'll do the movie for $4 million. See what Sly says. I'll do it for 3 of that.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's exactly how it basically happened. He took the bait. What a stupid idiot.
It's in that interesting category of movies. It's a comedy without any laughs in it, which is weird.
It has laughs, but not
Not the way
right.
that they meant.
Exactly.
That's right.
It is a cringe bad. It's almost like it's one. Okay. It reminds me. Okay. Have you guys ever seen the Jack or Jill movie, or at least you know what I'm talking about, the Adam Sandler movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. He did a movie not too long before that called Funny People, where in that movie he plays like a version of himself. And they have a bunch of fake trailers in that movie of movies that are making fun of shit that Adam Sandler would basically make. And when I saw Jack and Jill, I'm like, is this an outtake from Funny People? Because there's no way this is a real movie. This movie feels like one of those fake trailers, but yet you're watching it and you're going, wait a minute, this is a real movie? Like, you know what I mean?
Someone actually thought it was a good idea to make this. Yeah. I think it's a D, but that's just me.
Oh fuck yes, it's definitely a D. Anybody else want to argue with that? Please, now's your
I don't
time
think
to
you
speak
got
your piece.
unlike Cobra or Creed 1, you're not gonna have arguments here.
What's sad is I almost hate
unity.
Expendables 4 so much that I wish I could. I almost feel like I have to put Driven and Shut Up or My Mom Will Shoot Up to see just because of how bad Expendables 4 is. But yeah, I don't know. I guess this will weight that down because we got Rhinestone next. Rhinestone. Who's seen Rhinestone besides me?
Oh, I've seen it.
Go on with Rhinestone.
Yeah.
You are tied at S and A for Cobra. I'm gonna be that guy that says tie goes to the runner, and in this case, S is the runner.
Oh shit! You guys got. It just went and changed again. Somebody come in.
Oh, come on! You know you.
Yeah, we got to get some more votes in there, guys, for Cobra, guys. Come on.
Cobra votes.
And I can't vote, so.
Go S. Go.
All right, let's get to Rhinestone here next. Who's seen Rhinestone besides me?
Oh, I've seen it.
Drinkenstein.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Rhinestone.
Kind of embarrassing.
Okay, so this movie, again, like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, you're watching it and you're going, wait a minute, this is a real movie.
Yeah, I mean, is it true that Stallone turned down Romancing the Stone to make this?
I don't know, but I've heard that too.
True?
It could be possible. It's the same year, I think. Because, okay, so what this movie is about is Dolly Parton gets into a disagreement with her manager or something like that, or the guy that owns this place that she works at. And she's like a country western singer. So she's playing the part. And she makes this bet that she can turn anybody into a country star. And, of course, she picks Sylvester Stallone, who's this fucking jerk New York cabbie guy. Right?
Mm.
And that's the gimmick. That's the plot. And it turns out exactly like you would expect it to. And you can't believe, and this is the beauty of this film because it exists.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies where you can't believe that somebody didn't stop at some point and go, wait. We're going to have Sylvester Stallone playing a country and western star. I mean, I get that's what the movie's about, but isn't that, it's like.
Wait a minute. It's worse than that. Somebody didn't come in and go, who thought it was a good idea to make a movie where Sylvester Stallone is expected to sing?
That's what I'm getting at. So, like, my comparison I was trying to get at here is those, like, so what you would do is normally get somebody like John Denver or somebody for this role. Somebody you know who can actually sing.
Yes.
But the joke is, in the movie, in the beginning, they're like this nebbish, little, like, meek guy, and she turns him into a country singer, right? And we know he can sing. That's the draw. We already know he can. Right? Just like in She's All That or any of those kind of movies where you already know the chick is good looking. She's nerded up on purpose, right? Same concept here is what they should have ran with. Instead, they went the extra mile and actually tried to do what they do in the movie, and it doesn't fucking work. It falls flat on its fucking face. And as much of a sense of humor, as charming as Sylvester Stallone is, neither him nor Dolly can save this movie, and they have no fucking chemistry. That's the other fucking problem. They have zero chemistry in this movie, and they're supposed to be playing like, will they, won't they lovers in it too. Like, that's the other problem. So
it just doesn't seem real at all.
It doesn't. It doesn't seem like a real
so
movie. It seems like an
unreal.
SNL skit or like one of those fake trailers, like I was saying. Yeah.
And it just goes to show that Burt Reynolds is a better actor than people give him credit for.
He would have been a better choice. That's
He
what it
would have
feels like.
been a
Is this
better
movie
choice.
was made for those two, right?
Yes.
That makes fucking sense.
And Stallone should never have written it either. But
No, and if he wrote, he did write it, or did he rewrite it? That's
he
the
wrote
question.
us the original script. I think they had to really
shit,
tidy
'cause
it up.
Oh man, I was say if he rewrote it, I can understand because that was one thing. He was always coming in and doctoring everything.
I
he
think it
worked
was
on.
the other way around this time, but yeah, Burt Reynolds would have been perfect. It could have been funny then with a good script.
Because we know Burt can at least sing enough to sing country.
Yes.
Like,
Well, Jeff Bridges would have been good because
Jeff Bridges would have been a great. Yeah, there's 100 guys that I would have been like would have made more fucking sense than this, and probably would have had a lot better chemistry with Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
because. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking on this one.
Yeah, anyway, it's a D. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. You could just delete it from the list, and that would work too.
I'm sure Sly would like to delete it from history.
This almost needed like a fucking Stop or My Mom Will Shoot level on this tier. I really got to figure out how to add tiers to this, or if somebody knows how to make tiers, get a hold of me and I'll tell you what I need. Cause like I'm horrible at this shit. Cause I don't know how to save them. I lose them every time and I just reload the pictures every time and I start from scratch.
You need a T for trash.
Shit.
And as Tom H is pointing out quite rightly, that Burt did sing with Dolly in The Best Little Whorehouse
That's
in
true. I was
Texas,
gonna point
and
that
that is
out
a
as well.
way better movie than
I was going to point that out as well. Even Eastwood would have been a better choice, and Eastwood can barely sing. He's even done albums and shit.
Paint Your
Oh, he's a
Wagon
pian-
Paint Your Wagon should come in near this movie, and that was Clint Eastwood singing.
That's true, but at least Clint, you can see it.
there's
Daylight is the next one. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, somebody else in the chat said it's really My Fair Lady, except with the gender roles reversed.
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
But, yeah, it's my Fair Lady.
I didn't know I copied My Fair Lady.
What kind of accent do you
It's My
want me
Fair
to have?
Cabby.
My Fair Cabby. It's My Fair Cabby. Anyway,
That's actually clever.
it is very clever.
Daylight is the next one on the list. I have not seen this one yet. It's coming out on 4K. I think I have it pre-ordered. So
I've never seen it.
It's the one where there's like a big blackout and a flood in the city. And he's like a city.
And it's pretty good,
fire worker or
actually.
something like that.
It's definitely not as bad as those ones.
Wait. Is that the one that there's like a tunnel and he's like,
Yes.
What's it called?
He's like an emergency worker.
It's called Daylight. Yeah.
It's such a
disaster
forgettable movie that I didn't even remember that it was called Daylight. It has to be like something between me. If I was generous, a C, but if it ended up on the D list, like I would forgive you as well.
It's more of a C. It's not as bad as
I'll
the
give
ones
it a
we've just
C.
discussed.
I'm okay with
yeah.
the C.
It had
I
its
remember
moments.
it being ridiculous, like, but somehow I ended up watching it. But I don't know if there's a more forgettable Stallone movie than that one.
But it's not
getting a bit of a
offensive.
mixed.
It's
Yeah, it's getting
forgettable,
mixed
but not
all
No,
over
it's
the
not
place.
like
We're
him
getting-
singing country with Dolly Parton or whatever. Yeah,
It's
We're getting
moderately
A's,
good.
we're getting B's, we're getting C's, we're getting D's, we're getting all over the fucking place with this one. So you know what I'm going to do? Since I just ended the poll and Cobra barely managed to stay in the S tier, Nick.
just.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
What a
As
smart
it
audience
should.
we have.
You're
All right,
smart
Daylight.
people for choosing S. Very smart. Some say
Clearly
you're the
not
best
an S
people.
tier.
Well, we're gonna send this movie to be celebrated at Mar-a-Lago.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't one of Trump's favorites. All right, moving on.
I really like this movie.
Did you stick Daylight and C?
We haven't done anything with it yet. I'm
All right,
leaving
okay.
it up to the chat because we kind of were waffling and everybody's all over the place with this thing. So I'm going to let that one up to the chat. We got Expendables 2. Nah, I did not like this one, unfortunately, even though Van Damme is in it. Not a big fan of it.
I'm gonna go with C. There's things about it I like, but it's not a great movie at all. But it's not a bad movie either.
There's some
It's-
jokes in it. Some of the
it's-
jokes are
There's some
good.
good jokes in there. Yeah, there's definitely
Mhm.
some good jokes.
So you say a C, Red Shirt. What about you?
C.
I've seen this and I don't remember
I
anything
think it's
about
a
it.
B. I would go B.
B?
Ooh, that's
Oh, I don't know if
generous.
it's as good as the first one. I honestly, I like the third one better, but that's just me.
I'm with you, Tom. And the third one's PG-13. And it's somehow
Well, that's
still
just because
better.
Mel Gibson is so fucking
Oh,
good.
I know.
And the rivalry between it, like you believe that these guys all knew each other, like the whole way they set that up. Part 2 is kind of just oddball. It almost felt like Michael Bay came in and directed the second one or something. That's what it felt like to me. I could be wrong. Price, have you seen it? Do you remember?
I
If you like
see
it or
that.
not?
Expendables
2, the second one.
2. I've
the
seen all
second
of
one.
them. I've seen all of them. I thought that 1 was the best one. I think that maybe 3, maybe because of Mel Gibson, it was a little better. But 2 and 3 were both kind of, mediocre. They were probably C movies, whereas like 4 was a D.
Yeah, the audience looks like they're rolling with C's. I don't think CC has seen it. Have you?
No, I have
All
not.
right. Well, in honor of you, we're going to put it in C tier. So there you go.
That works.
All right, guys, here we go. We're getting down to the gritty nitty.
And C
Oh,
is still
gritty-
okay. C is still
Gritty
okay. I
nitty.
mean,
Yeah, it's still on the same level as 3. I'll accept that. SFX 314 F314 Sabertooth Raptor says, "Miss, you know what? If they actually brought the Bigfoot Pizza Hut pizza back, I would get it because I actually got the New Yorker when they brought that back. So I would definitely do the Bigfoot. I miss the Bigfoot. I also miss Pizza Pits. I don't know if
I
anybody else had
tried
Pizza Pits.
the Big New Yorker when they brought it back, and I was so disappointed.
It wasn't as good as the first time. You're right.
No, it was not. I was so
Their
sad.
shit is not as good as it used to be. And then, but the reason I brought up Pizza Pit is because Pizza Pit also had a Bigfoot pizza. I don't know if anybody had those around their areas, but
no.
Anyway, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Stop or My Mom movie is infinitely better than Section 31. A tier in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're talking like piss and vomit, right?
Well, it's comparing two different kinds of feces.
So, if
That's
Stop
what I said.
or My
Between
Mom,
piss and vomit, yeah.
If Stop
At least
or My
piss
Mom
is
will-
sterile.
If that movie
This is like which.
Go ahead.
This is like which venereal disease would you prefer?
That's what I mean. Yeah, like they both suck. You got to choose between piss or vomit. Like
when the itches are burned.
Which one? Do you spit out one or you shard out the other? Ugh,
Stop or
man.
My Mom Will Shoot. I'll watch 1,000,000 times over Section 31 though. Especially if you put a gun to my head. Yeah, and then Gerald Armstrong sends in 5 and says, "Just got here. We are rating the party at Kitties and Studs. Are we ranking that one? No, I left that one off the list. I had to make executive decisions, otherwise we'd be here all night. Because Sly's been in like 100 and some plus films, but a lot of the time he's either uncredited cameos or background actor, especially when he's younger. I guess he was in MASH and I didn't know it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah." I didn't realize that. And like, that's what I'm saying. So like, there's a bunch of stuff that he was in, especially early on, that it's like, oh, cool. Everybody's heard of it, but he's barely in it. And then I also have to make executive decisions. Like Spy Kids 3 was one I almost put on the list, but I haven't seen it. And I wasn't sure if you guys would really care if it was or not. Like that was kind of my cutoff line between that and Ants. It's like, okay, usually I accept him as a villain, but I've never seen it. I don't know if people even consider that a Sly movie so much. So, in this respect, though, we are getting... Oh, Nighthawks is on the list. Nighthawks is on the list.
And Daylight so far 52 votes with C at 50%. The audience is speaking so
Oh, wow.
far.
I guess so. I think we're going to end that one now, then.
I'm with them on that.
obvious.
I'm with them on that.
All right, so let's get on over the top, kids.
Oh,
we're going over the top here.
Now we're talking.
Over the top.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
Canon films.
Bias Nick says S, but it's not lost on me that it's nowhere near considered iconic. But as a canon
It's more
film,
iconic for how bad it bombed.
Oh yeah, it bombed huge. It bombed huge, but has the love grown for it since? Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I have a Lincoln Hawk shirt. That should tell you how much I love.
You know,
it.
I'm almost ready to argue this is an S tier film.
I'm gonna. The objective is A, but my bias says S because I grew up with this movie. I was in love with this movie. I basically had an affair with this movie and never stopped.
You had a love child with it? What?
Dude, that scene where I love how this movie is so toxic, it's so homoerotic. That when two guys are arm wrestling, not only are the arm wrestlers themselves sweating, but the entire room of dudes just sweating along with them. Come on.
The sweat, indeed. This is the sweatiest movie ever.
This
Not
is
even
the thing.
Vietnam War movies are as sweaty
As
as
he
this.
should. Johnny Lawrence has good taste.
Here's my problem with this. Like, yeah, normally I would argue that if you're gonna put Cliffhanger on an A tier, then you can't put this any higher than an A tier. But if it wasn't for Johnny fucking Lawrence bringing it up in Cobra Kai the way he did, making it more iconic now.
It's a preposterous movie, but there's something about it that I can't help not liking. If I was honest, it's probably a B if I'm really, really nice. But if you gave it more, I would understand because like I have I like the movie. I like it more than I have any right to like it.
It has. This is what I understand, and this is the perfect example. I don't know if Six is still listening or not because I know she was driven nuts by the no rules. Here's my whole point of this. Is Over the Top a good movie? By fucking no means whatsoever is it a good movie.
Yeah,
if anything, it is a very bad movie in a lot of ways, but it has every cheesy, smulchy fucking thing that's great about the 80s in it.
And it's a father and son story.
And it
It's
has
great.
grown in its iconography over the years, this is what I'm talking about when this is something that transcends into the S tier beyond the ratings of A, B, C, D, F, right?
Hold on.
This is the kind of movie I'm talking about.
All right, Tom,
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna now move my
Meet me
argument.
halfway on this, please.
I'm gonna move my argument now. Can I backtrack? I'm gonna move to an S, and here's why I'm gonna backtrack to an S. Because, as you mentioned, A, but B, there is a great father and son plot. The music is absolutely.
That's where
memorable.
I said, meet me halfway.
The music's
There's
great.
also the music, but also a lot of dudes, you know, who are not soy. If you go to a dude and you look at him and get that tense look, and then you turn your hat around, they know that's the over the top. They know that's from over the top. So
this is
when
transcended.
when you do that in front of a dude who knows his testosterone, they're like, yep, that's over the top.
This transcends all normal rankings.
Yeah, when you transcend, to do something transcendent is something where you could do something and someone like, yep, I know that's from.
I mean, I'm biased
That's
because
what
it's
I've been getting
canon
at.
films, and I'd say that's got to be an S tier,
and
but
it
I can
is.
accept an A. I could accept an A.
And that's the thing. Like,
I think it's a B if we're being generous, but okay. I mean,
you get what I'm saying? No, I'm with you, Price. Like on the level of like as a film, it's being a
Should
B
be a
is probably
B,
me,
but it's not a B.
I mean, I like it too. Don't get me
Does
wrong.
my argument make
understand.
sense though? Because this is what I've been trying to say to Six and everybody else about what the S tier means. The fact that Johnny Lawrence brought it up in Cobra Kai has brought it now to a level
In popular culture.
in pop culture.
Yeah.
And you know, you got the sound. It is every little hallmark and thing about it that is so fucking 80s. Right, you got Kenny Loggins on the goddamn soundtrack. It wasn't Sammy Hagar the one who sings
Sammy
over the
Hagar,
top.
Winner Takes It
Fucking-
All.
Yeah. Winner Takes All, yeah.
Robin Zander's on there. Frank Stallone, Asia, the group
You even
Asia.
got
Georgie
Sylvester
Moreau.
Stallone.
Eddie
you even-
Money is on
You
there.
even got a Sylvester Stallone speech
Yeah.
that he gives the kid.
Dude, the final arm wrestling fight actually feels intense. I feel like
It is
I feel like
Rocky
I'm
on the
getting
road
intense
with a
it.
kid.
I'd love to put it in S because it's just the kind of shit that I am all over. And
That's what
it's
I
everything
mean. It
I'm
like
about.
screams Stallone, right? It
But
bleeds Stallone.
I can
It's
understand people who would say only an A.
like,
But I
look,
would
if
never
if-
go lower than A.
Yeah,
ever.
I
That's
will
the
I
never
think
problem.
it's
This
S.
is not.
lower.
This is my whole point, and this is the part that drives Six and others nuts probably about this thing. Like, look, this is my point. This is not about how good the movie is.
No, it isn't.
It's about how fucking iconic it is, and what it means to Sly, and what it means to us, and how much
And as Johnny Skidwalker says, it's the
transcended.
most 80s movie ever.
exactly. That's
In-
what I was
in
just
a
saying.
1,000 years from now, they'll look at this, they'll find a copy of it and go, that reminds us of the 1980s, a millennia ago. it's,
No, I just have to say, one, I haven't seen it, and two, this
What?
movie is so
What?
iconic, I've never even heard of it.
oh, come
Are you kidding
on,
me?
Richard.
No, I'm not kidding you. I had to look this
man.
up on IMDb
You're
just to
making
find
that
out who was in it. No, I'm
You're
not.
making that up.
This movie was famous for how bad it bombed at the box
it bombed,
office, first of all,
It did.
because Sly got paid like a fortune for it. And it was one of those
As he
movies that was just
should.
supposed. It was supposed to be this huge hit of the summer or whatever, and it just bombed. But it has just grown and grown. It was like on TBS every 10 minutes.
There was
for few
already a
years
number
there.
of nails in the coffin for Cannon, but this was the very, very big final one.
Yeah, this is one of the big ones. Yeah,
yeah,
Over
this was
the
them trying to
top.
play with the big boys.
yeah.
Oh,
but they'd
man.
pre-sold it, so they didn't care.
Yeah,
No, I'm glad it's gotten the love that's gotten, because I remember when I bring this movie up when I was a teenager, and the looks of like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I get was like I was like, what the fuck? You guys are acting like I'm like knocking on like some politician. But now the love is just
It's
warm.
it's-
Dude,
that's so true. That's so true.
this is
It
a
is.
fact.
It's a hell of a drug.
This is a
well,
fact.
yeah, that's why Hollywood needs cocaine again.
And Red Shirt, I'm surprised you haven't heard of it, but
If
I
we
hope you
had
can
it-
hear the argument here.
It's a
'cause,
meme.
like,
I mean, it's just.
I can hear the argument. And what the sense that I'm getting, just so you know, Brian loves this film because he's a canon film nut.
And
you
80s
guys all
action
love
shit
this film
and
because
sports
you were a completely different age from me when you saw this the first time.
Oh yeah, we were the kids' age when this movie came out.
Right. And there are certain movies like The Goonies and a couple of others that I know are iconic, but for a specific generation. And I would say this is one of those movies.
Because you got to look at, you're understanding completely. Because it's almost like every kid when they saw this movie was like, I want my dad to be Sylvester Stallone, who drives a fucking semi truck and arm wrestles and comes and takes me away for the summer, away from my rich, bitch family that I live. Like that's the movie. I mean, it shouldn't work. Everything about it is wrong.
But it's so Stallone. It's quintessential Stallone.
But it's one of those movies where you got to see it, Red Shirt. And when you see it, you'll be like, okay, I get it. It is a bad movie, but
if we hadn't done it already,
I'm going over the top. Fuck it.
If we hadn't done it already for Toxic Tuesday, we do it immediately. I would pretend if I hadn't done it, whatever I had for this Tuesday, we would change it at the last minute just to adjust for Red Shirt.
I'm pretty sure you already had done this one.
Yeah, we had.
It's the type of movie that you sit around with friends and watch, and like it'll be
pizza and beer.
A hoot. Yeah, you sit with pizza and beer, and you're gonna be laughing the whole time.
But you're loving it, laughing
and loving it at the same time. It is like excessive '80s canon. It is. It's like.
Marco
it's hard to explain it in words, but
exactly,
I
Marco. I get where you're coming from with the $2. Thank you so much, Marco. Says over the top is terrible. It can't be S tier. That's exactly why it's S tier, though. Yes, Tom H. Thank you. It's like Roadhouse. Exactly.
Roadhouse.
Exactly. Yeah, is it a good movie? Fuck no. By every
is it full of the shit we like?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. It's like cocaine produced this movie. Does it make sense? No. Doesn't have to make sense. It's just fucking all the cool things men like in one movie, just crammed into one, and just fucking deal with it.
And he drives the truck, and then he wins the bigger truck.
It's like, how much more manly can we get than semi trucks? Fucking arm wrestling.
Seriously, you can't say you're not a man and you don't watch this movie. Like, come on. I'm just questioning. You're a fag. Yeah. If you're a man and you're saying you don't watch it,
what do you like? If you don't like this movie, what have you got against Sweat? Right. You hate Sweat if you don't like this movie.
There's more sweat produced in this movie than any porno ever.
I just love how all the guys who aren't even arm wrestling, who are watching the arm wrestling, are sweating just as much.
They're sweating watching this movie. Yes. Because and then you're done. You're like, I could fucking do that.
Was there a sweat wrangler on the set?
I love that there's like a competition, like a legit competition for the arm wrestling thing, and that there's so many people so seriously watching it. It's just ridiculous.
What's sad is it's true. There is a real arm wrestling competition, Bryce.
There is. There's competitive.
Yeah. ESPN, I think it's on the Ocho. I don't know.
Remember when I said Terry Crews sweats so much in the first Expendables that his sweat had sweat? He would be fine at home.
This movie has sweat. You pick up the video box and it's literally just sweat all over you. It smells like slide.
I would like to say to people, we're just having fun on this show. We're not trying to be serious critics here.
Something smells like cocaine and human growth hormone. I don't know what it is.
And you guys know me. You know how critical I am, and even I admit that there's something that's you can't
there's
steer
something
away from the
charming
charm.
about it. Yes.
Yeah, there's a charm about this movie. What can you do?
It is like a Family Guy movie. Right,
I love the message about him and his son. I mean, it's a bad father fighting for his.
Like I can believe like an episode of Family Guy starts out and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to show you my favorite movie ever," and then he just clicks on and the whole show is just over the top, and then it ends and it's like, "See, that's a great movie." I think everybody would accept that as an episode of Family Guy.
Dude, Josh Bull said over the top is just a sweat generator.
I want the sequel. I would like the sequel, Under the Bottom.
I think that movie probably sold more hats than it did videos.
Did it lose a ton of money?
Oh God, yes.
Oh God,
Technically,
yeah.
no, but
Well,
yes. Like it's like Brian was saying, Canon at that time knew how to
Pre-sold
finance
everything.
these things. They pre-sold everything. But they started. This was before things got completely out of hand. So they probably did pretty well on this movie, especially the video
So
sales.
VHS sales would have been
Yeah,
pretty
because
good,
that's where Canon really made its money. Was the video sales. They would even release other companies' videos still at that point.
Yeah, they had a big distribution network too.
The
Yeah,
top was made with coke and steroids.
Under the
That's what I
bottom.
said.
Yeah, the sequel should have been Under the Bottom.
Yeah, we never would have gotten a sequel to this
Under
one.
the
So
bottom.
anyhow, we gotta keep moving along here because we're already
No
2
one's
hours
going to
in.
agree with us, but it's staying in S. So,
And honestly, I don't even know if I should even do much more than just throw the rest of these in the S tier. I mean, this is where you guys got to kind of argue with me from here on out because. All right, First Blood. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue about that.
No, that and Rocky 1
It's
are
all-
there's no arguing that's iconic.
First Blood's almost as good as Over the Top.
All right, so I'll take those and make it easy.
Yeah, those two are some of the most essential movies of all time. And if you can't say you're a Sylvester Stallone fan and not put Rocky, First Blood, Over the Top, Cobra, and Demolition Man in S tier. Yeah, like I have to question if you're a Stallone.
The only one
fan.
that's still bugging me is fucking Cliffhanger. Like,
I love
seriously.
Cliffhanger. I love it.
I know you weren't here for that, but I was trying to make the biggest argument in the world why that should be on S tier, and everybody's like, "Nah, I don't think it should be." So
I've got the steelbook of that. It's one of my
No
favorite
shit,
movies. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Love it. And one of the best villains ever.
I've ran the Rocky steps. I can say I've literally run the steps. I've been by the statue. I
done that,
love
yeah.
Rocky so
you know,
much.
I might leave it up to the chat here. We don't have a poll going right now.
On Cliffhanger,
You know what?
Cliffhanger.
I'm gonna fuck it.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna let the chat decide on this
Cliffhanger
one.
kicks
Do
ass.
it.
Oops, I hit the wrong button. Because I think you guys
John
might save me
Lithgow
on this
choose
one.
the scenery.
All right, make up for
so
Creed,
good.
you guys. It's time to make up for Creed because I'm so pissed that that's so high.
Oh, looks like the chat's they're gonna side with you, Tom. I think that you got the chat side on this one.
Actually, I'm only.
No.
There is no third option.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What's not to like about this movie?
That's what it says. SA, and there is no third option. Oh, that's a different steelbook than the one I've got.
That's the one I got. Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind. It is the same one. Never mind. You just had it backwards.
Yeah, it's flipped it round with the back.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Oh, that
the
looks
back.
yeah.
That's the front.
Yo, that's what I mean right there. Look at that.
Just come on. What's not
That's
to like
iconic
about
as
that?
fuck.
Dude, look at that shot.
I had
there.
that
He's
poster.
holding on to his own ass.
All right, here's another one that I'm sure has to go into the S tier. I mean, how can it not? I mean, just for the poster alone, Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Dude, what? No, here's the thing. And here's what I'll be fair. For me, it's an S because yes, it doesn't have the deeper story that First Blood does, but it's so ridiculously over top that it's just an all ultimate 80s badass testosterone filled. Like this is the type of movie where you fucking would drink gasoline and you'd survive because it's so damn good. Some kids say, okay, it's not as moving and thought provoking as the first movie, but who cares? Because you're there for the retarded good fun. You're not there to grow brain cells. You're there to lose them and be okay with it.
Well, and
the continuity is great. The continuity is excellent in this Rambo series.
Unless somebody wants to argue against Rambo 2, yeah, like I don't see how this can't be an S tier.
I would put Rambo, the fourth movie, in S tier. I wouldn't put this one. This was the least believable of them, and I think Chuck Norris did it better.
Fair point, but I don't know. Anybody else got anything better than that? I don't know. Because I'm not going to argue about Rambo 4 until we get there.
Yeah. This is my least favorite of the four Rambo
Wow.
movies. Yeah.
Now I'll admit that it's a lot more cheesier now, like as far as like
yes,
but it's so quintessential. Like I said, that
So
poster
fun.
alone is so iconic that
Well, that's where he gets his bandana. That's where he gets the
Exactly,
look.
the
It wasn't the first movie.
bandana.
A lot of people mistake that about the first movie and the second.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's
he
the
does
second
have
one where the look
he does
comes.
have one, but it's not the red one. It's just a rag he uses at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's barely as the same. But yeah.
I mean, it's tough for me because I would definitely put it S tier.
I'm not going to argue that it's iconic.
tough.
I mean, it's just not. It's my least favorite of the four movies.
Yeah, no, I can understand. I mean, you're gonna have they have to. There is an order to them in terms of, and it's not the same order for everybody about
Right.
which order
Yeah,
they're in.
and this is where I knew this was going to be a little bit of an argument here, but it sounds like majority of us are in the S tier range, so I'm going to leave that because I know.
Tom, by your definition of that an S is an iconic, even if it's not the greatest movie he ever made, I have to agree. This has got to be an S tier movie.
Well, and that's to me the only
reason.
thing that makes the S tier even worth anything, because otherwise, what do you have A, B, C, D if you're going to have a tier above all that? To me, that's what puts everything above it.
But is Rambo 3 in the S tier? Because it's not as
Fuck
good as
no.
1.
No,
I don't think so. Isn't as good as 1 and 2.
It is. For me, I understand it's
Rambo
for me.
and the Taliban. If it goes higher than B, I'd be surprised. Anybody else want to argue this? Besides
It's the one I would have lower than the others. Let's put it that way. I would definitely.
It's not my favorite Rambo one.
3, dude, come on. There's that guy in there. He's like, "Oh, it's a blue light. What does it do? It turns blue."
That's the only reason I'll jump this up a little bit more is that intro. Like, the problem with this movie is it goes downhill. The opening scene where he does the fight in, what is it, Korea or wherever the fuck he's at. I can't remember now.
I love
Thailand.
If you were in a forgiving mood, you could give Rambo 3 an A if you're really, really forgiving.
But it's one of those that I don't watch every. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even watch it every time I watch the series.
Yeah. No, I don't.
My
either.
least favorite.
I just watched it last night. No bullshit. I love it.
Maybe it's tied with Rambo 5.
I'd say better than Rambo 5. I think it's better.
I don't know. I gotta watch Rambo 5 again.
I'm gonna go with an A. I gotta rewatch 5, but I'll save my score for 5 later.
I do like Rambo 4. Rambo 4. Here,
moving on.
I'll
to
make this
one?
easy. I'm gonna make this one fucking easy because I don't think there's any argument.
Yeah.
And you already said it, Red Shirt. I mean, Rambo 4, to me, like, for everything that we kind of think about when we think about Rambo 2 and we remember as kids, Rambo 4 actually is. Right? Like, that movie was so underrated when it came out. And it is probably one of the most underrated Sly movies.
Oh, I love that movie.
I love it. Yeah, it came out and I was so happy. I sat there and he has so many people that he kills on screen, and I just sat there and I was so happy. I was calm and relaxed. It relaxed me that I saw him killing all those people. I don't know why. That's how I felt when I watched it.
It was
like
cathartic,
the
is
first
that what
movie,
you're saying?
it's a lot deeper with the story. So it's the best of both worlds because it's got the crazy mayhem of the second and third movies, but it's got the deeper story of that would be right in line with the first movie. And the funny part about it is it was such a long gap between 3 and 4. No one expected it to be as good as it was. And it was a genuine shock. I remember I actually was resisting against the fourth one. Then one of my buddies at my employer, I used to work at the Borders at that time. He's like, "No, dude, it was fucking awesome." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, even with the long gap between, he's like, "You will love it, Nick."
It's
and
brilliant.
I swear, no, I swear, you thought Trump was gonna come. I already did way before he did. It wasn't even close. This movie was just diabolically huge.
There's a wonderful scene when he's first taking the mercenaries upriver to where he dropped off the missionaries, and Graham McTavish, who is an ex-SBS Special Boat Service veteran, and that's basically the British Navy SEALs, and they are hard cases, and that is perfectly understandable. And he has absolutely no respect for Rambo. He's never heard of John Rambo. To him, he's the boat man. He's just the driver. And you have an SAS guy who's schoolboy, who's the sniper. He's trying to kind of pour oil on the waters. And McTavish is trying to get a rise out of Stallone's Rambo. And Rambo is just staring at him. And he finally is like, you want to make something? And Rambo doesn't even twitch a muscle. And the tension in the scene, you could cut with a knife. And I'm like, wow. And this is all about having seen the previous Rambo movies and knowing what he's capable of, and then having I've given that up. I just want to, I don't want to be in the hero business anymore. And and it's an incredible scene, and the look on all the mercenaries' faces when they're in deep shit, getting shot by by the Burmese military, and he comes out of the woods with his bow and arrow and starts skewering soldiers with it, and they're just looking up like, "What the hell? The boat guy?"
Yeah, I love that other bit where he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" He's like, "We're making a difference. You got any guns? No. You ain't gonna make no difference."
Yeah, right.
It's great.
Yes.
I see Ron Henriquez has a great comment. Says, I saw it first show opening day. Could tell a lot of men that were there had sneaked out of work on their lunch hour. That's when you know men are still men out there. They're out there and they're like, oh, I'm on lunch break. I guess I'll extend that break and go see Rambo. My man. My man.
All right. Well, I don't think there's much more we can say to praise the film there. Let's move on to the final Rambo film, Last Blood. Look, I didn't hate it. I actually enjoyed it. Now here's the thing: is I don't know if most people realize the American version is shorter than almost everywhere else in the outside the U.S. by like 15 minutes almost, or at least 10. Because there's a whole intro bit that's completely chopped off the movie, and there's some other stuff between the two brothers throughout the movie that's chopped out. So, look, I enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's a better film than it gets credit for because the theatrical cut is so hacked. But I'm curious what you guys think. Let's start with Brian. What did you think of Rambo 5?
It's okay. I wasn't hugely fond of it. I enjoyed it, but I've only ever watched it once. I've never rewatched it. So, for me, it's I don't know. I think it could have been better. I don't know what I was expecting, but I liked the way the previous one ended. I didn't really want another one. I thought
that's fair.
I thought the other one ended on the perfect note. The previous one ended on a perfect note. Him walking down towards the farm.
It makes me wonder if he hadn't done it as a Rambo movie, if people would have liked it better. Had it just been another Sylvester Stallone
maybe
movie.
just another. I didn't. Yeah, it just didn't feel particularly right as a Rambo.
He didn't even have the right hair. He just kind of felt like, fuck it.
It was just like another kind of action movie. It was a B. If I was to rank it, I'd say it was a B. But
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that the Last Blood, Rambo 5 is a B, much like Rambo 3 is a B, for different reasons. Rambo 3, there's things about it that don't work, but he's still Stallone in his prime, so you kind of forgive for a lot of things. And in the other thing, he may not be in his prime, but there's some things that he does that you do like in it, but both are flawed.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
I mean, I understand why he turned it, even if it was like an original script that was turned into a Rambo movie, which I think it was anyway. Like that last act is very Rambo, and he gets to do a lot of things that are very Rambo. I really want to push it up higher, but I'll accept it on the B level. Anybody else want to say anything about it? CC, have you seen it?
I've seen the first 3, so I still got to see 4 and 5.
Oh, she haven't seen on you for not saying 4.
You now didn't see 4. 4, it's really important, CC.
Incredible.
What about you, Red Shirt? How do you feel about it?
I was kind of with Brian. After I watched 4, I lost all interest in watching any more Rambo movies. I was like, that was perfect.
Well, it ruined the ending of 4 for me. It ruined the ending, which was just that beautiful shot of him walking down to the farm,
right,
and him, the camera pulling back to the distance, and I thought that's the perfect way for him to go out.
Yeah, it felt like a series ending. It felt like a series ending with the 4th
But
movie.
I also appreciate the Western ending they give him here, because he gets the chance to go out on a blaze of glory in a sense.
It's not a bad ending.
But don't they end it that it's
was perfect?
I've seen isn't there a few endings? Does he actually? I don't want to.
He's in the chair and he disappears. I think if I remember right, if that's how it ends. So it kind of gives you like this idea of did he live? It's up to you kind of thing.
It's up to you. Yeah, it's kind of an open ending.
So like I kind of like that Western ending of it. And I get it. I totally get it. Like I said, I think it might have worked better. I think Sly would have, if he was smarter, found a way to make it as just a regular movie and not just a Rambo movie. It might have worked out better. So I think we'll leave it there for now, unless anybody else wants to make any more arguments. Go We got
I'm
a
gonna
rocky
give it
road
a
ahead.
B. I'm gonna stay with you guys at B. Now, even though I disagree with 3, I feel like 3 should be an A. But for me, 5 is not a bad movie. I feel like it'd be a better Stallone movie, but it's the weakest Rambo movie.
He might get up. I think that you're right. He might get up and get on the horse and ride off. That's the other. I know it has a Western ending. That's all I remember. And I'm like, the ending was a little like, okay, that was fine. You know, to me, like I don't remember.
In it.
Yeah.
Violence is good in it.
And it did it did go to some places I didn't expect it to. That's probably another reason why I liked it so much when it came out, because I was like, I didn't expect it to go to certain places it did, and I'm like, wow, it actually did.
I actually think they did the wrong thing. They should have made it Rambo v Predator. That would have been the perfect movie.
Well, we almost got that in several cases.
I know, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I was praying for that.
Let me ask, and let me just ask one thing. I'm looking at a review, one of the featured reviews from IMDb, and there's a brief mention. You guys have all seen Sound of Freedom, right?
Yeah.
No.
This was
Yeah.
Well, you haven't seen Sound of Freedom yet, Nick? Wow.
I have not had the chance.
Okay.
Which one?
And this has the same kind of vibe. I kind of know where you're going with this. Yeah.
I was going to say, because I think this movie got the negative reaction it did because of that element in this film. Because man, when Sound of Freedom came out, it was a full court press to get people
this
to
got
not
a
watch
big,
it.
This got a big bunch of shit against it. This was called a Trump mega wet dream. This movie was when it came out.
Well, there were lots of people supporting cartels and complaining about this.
That's what I remember saying too. Is like, well, this shit's going on. I mean,
what's
what the
going
fuck?
on? Yeah.
Well, we're not supposed to know that. That's the
it's racist. Anyhow,
exactly. Yeah, right.
Like I said, we got a rocky road ahead of us. So let's keep moving here. We got one more super chat from Jason Webster. It says, I have a chronograph version of Tag Heuer. Watch Stallone or Tag Heuer. Yeah, is that how you say it? Okay. Watch Stallone War, which I think means which Stallone War and Cobra. Okay, well there you go. Cool.
Nice.
I used to own Tag Heuers. They broke too often.
All right, so Rocky 2. Where would you guys rank Rocky 2?
Now the fanboy in me says S, but I'd have to say, I guess compared to the wider demographic audience, probably an A. It's a strong sequel. It's got a great fight, and Rocky gets his proper win. Now I feel like some of Rocky's comebacks in this movie were on par with what he said in the first week, because that opening scene where Apollo and Rocky are arguing at the hospital, and then Apollo's like, "You got lucky, stud," and Rocky looks at it with his face all bruised up. Do I look lucky? I died laughing at that. So for me, as a fanboy, it's an S, but I guess you have to do an A because everyone's gonna say, well, it isn't the first one, which is fair, but he's not the underdog anymore, but it's such a good movie.
Rocky 2, it's a S tier.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Fuck it, it's an S tier. It's Rocky 2.
He has his baby in it. He
it's
kicks
a rematch
ass.
of the century, and then he goes, "Yo, Adrian, what do I do? Win,
Rocky."
Win. And then he's like, "Well, what are we waiting for?
Let's go." I know, it's great. If
the best movie ever. What are you talking about?
Is it really better than Rocky 4 though? Come on, Rocky 4
I don't
is the
care
best.
if all the Rocky movies are S tier.
All the Rockies are
all
S tier. Except for 5. 5 can go in some shithole. You can put 5 in the garbage. But aside from 5,
hey, I actually like 5, but we'll get there. So
this is the movie where Rocky starts to get the respect he deserves because Apollo is trying to goad him into a rematch. I think it's a fantastic sequel to Rocky 1, and I think it's an S.
And I love the music. I love the music. The opening theme is great. A piano theme as he's rolling in the ambulance.
It's difficult not to put a lot of the Rockies in S.
Well, that's what I basically was
They're
getting
iconic. What's more
there
iconic?
Are some I can't, but
Rocky 3
has to be there. Has to be an S tier.
It has to be there.
It's basically a love story.
I pity the fool who doesn't put Rocky 3 in the S tier.
If you think about Rocky 3, it shows you what happens when Rocky suffers true defeat and he has to come back from it. You got a great performance from Clover Lane.
I'm afraid.
But
Yeah.
also, it's also a secret love story in disguise between Rocky and Apollo. They
This is
become
true.
really close. They become so close, and you feel it with them. Like I love
Yeah.
the homoeroticism.
Did you feel the
in this
thunder,
movie.
baby?
Well, yeah,
Dude,
Nick.
the
That's
shorts,
just
the tight
that's
shorts, the jump roping together. Like, come
That's-
on, the beach.
yeah. the thing. I mean, yeah, Nick,
man-on-man
I laugh
action.
at that. I laugh
There
at
is no
that on
tomorrow.
Tuesdays. But the thing about this one is, this is where Creed pays Rocky the ultimate compliment. You're better than that, champ. You got to come back, and I'll help you. And he takes him around to the old places in Philadelphia. And he gets him back in his head back
When
in
you
the
fought
game.
me, you had the eye of the tiger. You had
Exactly.
that hunger.
So yeah, no, Rocky 1, 2, and 3 all fit together about the rivalry between Rocky and Creed, and is the friendship that develops, the respect that develops. So no,
the
I
romance
couldn't
that
rank any
develops.
of those three below S.
I mean, if there was any movie on this list that was more 80s than over the top, it's Rocky 3.
Rocky 3. Yeah.
I would put Rocky 3 up above anything. For
The
80s.
shorts and the belly tops that they're wearing at the beach too, when they
Yes. Yes.
Just for the, not only that, you talk about Stallone having a perm. Holy shit.
To be fair, Rocky 4's pretty 80s as well when you
Fuck
think about
yes,
it.
it is. But not only that, it's the movie that single-handedly ended the Cold War.
It did.
So because of that, we have to put it in S tier.
Yeah,
and we pledge allegiance to Rocky 4 forever and ever. Amen. Because
See, there's an interesting exercise that I sometimes do where I try to rank the Rocky movies in order of best to worst or least good. And sometimes I end up with Rocky 4 being second next to the first Rocky.
Dude,
I just-
this is
I
what's
don't know,
fucked
I
up.
keep
is
going
it is
back
the
to
most
Rocky 4.
popular.
I
It
keep
is the
going
most
back to it.
popular besides the first one and maybe
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa now. But here's the kicker of it. It is and I'll make an argument for it. And here's what's sad is it's just like Over the Top and all these other movies. It is a bad movie.
I
But we
agree.
love
So
it.
good.
It is not a
disagree.
very good movie at
It's
the end
not
of
a
the
very
day.
good movie, and I
It's a
love it. I love every minute
fantastic
of it.
movie. It's
But no, here's the thing,
it's got the
Nick.
best
I get where you're coming
montages.
from. No, I get exactly where you're coming from, and I love it for all the same reasons you do. But subjectively, and this is why there's an S tier here, and this is my point. And this is where I think people give Rocky 5 a bad fucking shake. Because
It
as
is
a movie,
shitty for 5. Fuck
if you
5.
break down 4, it is not as very good fucking script. It's a very piss.
But at
poorly
least 4
written
is fun.
script.
5 isn't fun. It's a shitty script and it's shit.
Okay, so let's get to 5 then, because all right. Here's the thing with 5. I like 5, and here's my only argument I can give it, and at best I can give it maybe an A or B. And that's because it takes us out of the ring, it takes us back to the streets, it takes Rocky a little bit more back to the character, because by Rocky 3 and 4, he is like Freddy fucking Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street. Right? Like he goes from being one thing to another, and people are already pointing it out in the chat. By Rocky 3, yeah, he's almost a completely different person. He's not even Rocky anymore. He's Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 3. And it's kind of the same thing with Rocky
I
4.
love it.
But with Rocky 5, he actually is playing Rocky again. And there's one scene that even fucking thinking about it, I get fucking choked up thinking about it. That because of that scene always puts this movie up for me. And that is that they brought Burgess Meredith back, and you get that little flashback when he walks into to Mickey's gym, and he gives him that little, cufflink that was Rocky Marciano's, and they have that little moment together, and it gets me every single fucking time. I'm already kind of getting a little welled up by it.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I think
the
it's
Tommy
the
Gunn
seed.
thing, you know what makes it even better for me though is like in history, like as it went on, like at the time it came out, I get the joke that it was, but the fact that the kid who played Tommy Gunn ended up fucking his life up worse than Tommy Gunn ever could have. Like I think that movie is kind of ahead of its time in that respect. Oh,
What happened to Nick?
We lost Nick. He must have had an internet problem or something. He'll be back.
I did like some of the Rocky 5 aspects of the story about him and his son, and
that's what I mean. Like it has so much more to
the
it than I think
drama
people give it.
parts
Yeah,
were,
I've
best,
tried
were
this-
actually the best parts.
I've tried watching this movie a number of times over the years. I mean, I've seen the whole thing before, but I mean, over the years, I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as you remember. And then I put it on, I'm like, man, this movie annoys me.
I don't know. For me, I have the opposite thing, Price, and I
I
totally
would give it a
respect that.
C. If
like,
you
I just
wanted my
watched it
vote, I give it a
again.
C.
But I just watched it again when the 4K come out, and I would say he's even aged better. I don't know. I have a hard time knocking this movie down. And I've even seen the ending where Rocky dies.
Where have we got it right now?
It's nowhere right now.
All right,
I haven't decided
I was going
yet.
to say I think it's a B for me.
I'm gonna go with
I think
B
it's
as
one
well.
of the
here's the
weaker
thing.
ones.
We'll
I
put
like
this
the
in
fight at
B.
the end. I like the street fight at the end. I like that they brought it back to the neighborhood. So, and I do have my problems with the movie, especially compared to the Air 4. But I did like the fight at the end. For me, it was a C movie, and then with a third act.
It's a B.
So right in the middle.
I think it's a B. I mean, it doesn't have as much rewatchability as most of the others.
No, it's shit.
No, where did we put Creed? Where did we put the first Creed movie?
Fine.
Yeah, if you
know
put a
what?
Creed in
The
B, then it
audience
has to be B.
already won me on that one, so there we go.
If anything, I prefer the first Creed movie to Rocky 5.
That was what I
know.
How
I
did
think Creed is an
how did
abomination.
Cliffhanger get to be S tier, by the way?
Because the audience voted it in.
Ah, okay. Well, can't argue with the audience.
And we're on our final film. And honestly, I don't think we're really going to argue about this one too much like we did with Rocky 5. I mean, this is an S tier.
I love Rocky Balboa.
And not only that, if you have not seen the director's cut yet, do yourself a fucking favor. Because you'll realize that most of Paulie was cut out of the movie, and he has some great fucking scenes that were chopped out. And they're all restored in the director's cut. Check out Rocky Balboa, the director's cut. It is available now on the Blu-ray. I don't know if you can get it digitally or not, but the 4K Blu-ray it's on.
I love Rocky Balboa.
So all right, here we got our list. I don't know. I'm kind of liking this list, although I feel like
I've only got one.
Off.
I've got one problem with it, and I wasn't here when you ranked it, which is Victory or Escape to Victory, as it should properly be known. I would have it as a B, not a C. That's just me, but that's because I love that movie.
Because it was like
maybe it's because it was the soccer.
You saw it and you said the same thing. I think.
Yeah,
I would
give
put
it
it
a B.
B. Yeah,
yeah.
It's a great, classic kind of escape movie, Second World War escape movie with a twist because of the soccer aspect. I mean, Stallone as a goalkeeper is ridiculous, like completely ridiculous. But that was the way to get him into the team because he had to be in the team. So,
exactly.
But it's got Bill Conti music, directed by John Huston. It's a fun movie and a lot of great cameos by actual soccer players, football players. So.
Yes, was Pele in that?
Pele's in it. Bobby Moore. John Wark, great Scottish footballer with a fantastic mustache.
Well, I think they did one. I'll say, Brian, they did one thing that did make sense in Victory.
Yeah.
Stallone's American knows nothing about soccer.
He doesn't, and he admits it. Yeah.
He admits it. He tries to use his hands. When they're playing, they're like, "You can't use your hands." And he's like, "Where could you use your hands?" They said, "In the goal." He says, "Well, make me the goalkeeper." Then he becomes a halfway decent goaltender.
He does.
I mean, not at first. They kick everything past him at first. It's funny.
Yeah.
But actually, I agree.
Michael Caine, Max von Sydow. What's not to like?
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
And you would probably appreciate this. I said I've watched the German team in the Soccer World Cup, and they still play the way that the Guards team did. To them it's full they think they're playing rugby.
In the World Cup, it's the one place I can support the Germans above the English every time. That you'd have to be a Scotsman to get that. I support Germany over England every time.
Even though I disagree on the rankings of Rocky 3 and Creed, I'm not going to fight with them the same way I did Cobra. Cobra, I live and die by the sword of S. So I've understood.
Why would you argue with Rocky 3? It's on S tier.
Sorry, I meant Rambo 3. Rambo.
Oh, okay, Rambo 3.
Where's
I can see it.
I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight.
Is Death Race 2000 in this list? Or?
Yeah, it's on B level.
All right, okay.
All right, well.
I just can't see it so small on my screen here.
Yeah.
But at least Creed 2 is above Creed, so at least it lets me know there's still some justice in the world.
Rocky and Apollo.
A love story.
They had joy, they had fun, they had seasons in the sun. They had really tight shorts on when they hugged in the waves.
Let's go surfing, skeet surfing.
Did you get your $5 worth there, Action Com? I think so. I think so. I think this is a good list as is right here.
I agree.
It's fun.
I think
We're not professional critics, so
no, it's just more or less. Like I said, the S means iconic. The rest we kind of vote from there about how like they are as far as a level of a film. I think.
Well, we don't want to be professional critics. If we end up being that, we'll end up being like them and being shills.
Yeah,
I'd rather not be them.
And I'd look ridiculous in a yellow wig yelling, "So!"
Oh!
So, what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
Demolition Man looks so nice there.
Evader.
It does.
It really does.
Movie.
Seeing Cobra there too is great. Over the top. Oh, and I'm gonna sleep real good tonight. And no, I might even put out Over the Top as I'm passing out. Maybe I'll even sweat in my sleep. We'll see.
You will sweat in your sleep. I imagine.
All right, kids. Well, thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. We went a little over time. Sorry about that.
That was worth it.
I think it was indeed. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Six. Sorry we didn't.
I feel guilty. Six left after I joined now. It wasn't me.
She's just. It's the chaos, and I get it. She
I
doesn't
feel
like
bad.
that there's no real set rules, and it bothers her. And maybe I'll have to talk to her about it. We'll have to figure some things out. Who knows?
Well, I certainly hope it wasn't me, Six.
No, just remember, Cobra stays at us.
Always.
That's probably why she left.
If there's a tier above S.
She couldn't believe
All
you
due
put that on S
respect.
tier.
All due respect, Cobra stays at us.
That's what she couldn't believe. So, all right, kids. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super chats and all the support. Hit that like button on your way out the door, and don't forget to tip your waitress. Tell Mark D I said hello. I might even bop in there. Who knows if I got enough energy or not. I'll definitely try. But with that, see ya on the flip side. Take care.